Chapter 148. In a vast wasteland, there were monsters killing each other at any time. Their goal was to kill each other and eat each other's flesh to fill their stomachs. However, a human warrior, who was small and skinny compared to the monsters, was advancing alone in the wilderness. He did not avoid any monsters at all. Rampage. These monsters were like ants to him. Many monsters had attacked this human martial artist, but the result was that the smell of blood on this human martial artist's body became even thicker. The terrifying stench of blood, especially the scent left behind by the blood of some powerful monsters on his body, caused the monsters on the road to avoid him when they saw him. Luo Feng, murmured Li Yao like a ferocious beast. You can hide. You might be able to dodge it once, but you won't be able to dodge it forever. Liao never would have thought that hunting down a 19-year-old youth like Luo Feng would be so troublesome. However, there's no way Liao won't avenge his son. If he doesn't kill Luo Feng, he probably won't be able to sleep at night. Liao suddenly felt the tactical communications watch on his wrist vibrate. After looking carefully, his heart quivered. Luo Feng's coordinates? At the same time, he received a call. Hey, Liao hastily said. Yao, it's me. You received Luo Feng's coordinates, right? Vanina's voice carried from the tactical communications watch. You got Luo Feng's coordinates, are you sure? Hurriedly asked Li Yao. Yao, we just got these coordinates. I don't know what's going on with that Luo Feng. His tactical communications watch is working again. This means that he probably turned on the tactical communications watch himself. I'm worried that this might be one of Luo Feng's schemes to lure you over, said Vanina. A scheme? A trap? Liao couldn't help but laugh crazily. His laughter echoed in the surrounding wasteland. Not a single monster dared to approach this terrifying human. I have the Black God set I got from the ancient civilization ruins. None of the war god experts can kill me. Unless it's an emperor-level monster, an existence surpassing the war god level, or a laser cannon. And Luo Feng. I really can't think of any powerful moves he has. Li Yao was full of confidence. All right, whether this address is real or fake, I'm going to take a look, Li Yao said. Yes. Vanina didn't object. She's also an advanced level war god, so of course she knows her husband's true strength. There were 3 situations that could threaten Li Yao. 1. Laser cannon. How could Luo Feng get his hands on a laser cannon and operate it? 2. An existence surpassing the war god level. If Luo Feng could invite an existence surpassing the war god level, would he even need to scheme? A king-class monster. There would definitely be many lord-class monsters around a king-class monster. Liao would have long since retreated when he realized that something was wrong. Why would he provoke a king-class monster? 120 kilometers away from here. Liao looked at the map. Luo Feng, I hope you're there. Who? After a terrifying sonic boom, Liao turned into a streak of blackness and dashed toward the southwest in a straight line. In the blink of an eye, he had already disappeared from everyone's sight. Someone whose speed was twice the speed of sound was indeed a terrifying existence. Next to the shore of the vast lake that was enshrouded in mist, a streak of brightness suddenly stopped and condensed. It was truly Vulture Liao in black with a cold face. This Luo Feng really knows how to hide. He actually chose a lake island filled with mist. With such a large amount of mist, the laser cannon can't be used at all. Liao couldn't help but to let out a mocking smile, mocking Luo Feng's unnecessary actions. From Liao's point of view, the laser cannon has already been confiscated by the Dojo of Limits. Without the laser cannon, isn't Luo Feng's actions unnecessary by hiding on this island filled with mist? Whoosh! Li Yao ferociously leapt tens of meters high and over 100 meters high. His entire body shot out like a cannonball. Chi-Chi, black light rapidly extended from Li Yao's feet, quickly forming something similar to a rubber raft. This rubber raft formed from the Black God, borrowed the momentum generated from Li Yao's previous leap to quickly ride the wind and break the waves on the surface of the lake. Sitting on the rubber raft, Li Yao held a single blade in each of his hands and occasionally paddled. With Li Yao's astonishing arm strength, every time he paddled, an astonishing amount of force would be generated. Howl! Ga, hiss hiss. All sorts of weird noises came from the bottom of the lake. However, Liao's expression was cold as he completely ignored the noises of the water-type monsters below. For an advanced level war god, normal water-type monsters in the lake indeed pose no threat to him. Sadly, Liao doesn't know the special characteristics of this lake. The black rubber raft sliced through the wind and waves of the lake at an astonishing speed as it swiftly advanced. What? Liao's face suddenly changed. An object that looked like a snake's tail, which was covered in purple scales, was as thick as a water tank and was over 30 meters long, abruptly emerged from the surface of the water like a bolt of lightning. It drew an arc in the air, and in less than a hundredth of a second, this thick and long purple scaled tail covered the rubber raft. Whoosh! The rubber raft under Liao's feet disappeared. Other than his eyes, mouth, and nose, the rest of his body was protected by the black color. Liao stepped on the gigantic scaled tail like lightning and used the force to directly shoot up. What a long tail! What terrifying strength! Just this whip alone definitely has the strength of a high-level horde leader. There's actually such a powerful water-type monster in this lake. Liao was shocked. The moment Liao fell from midair and touched the surface of the water. Hiss! Bolts of blue lightning instantly covered the surrounding area like twisting electric snakes. Liao's ability to dodge on the surface of the water is much worse than on land, so he couldn't dodge at all and was hit by the lightning. Thankfully, my black god set is completely resistant to electricity. Liao let out a sigh of relief. Shishi, a white thread almost instantly wrapped around one of his legs. An unbelievable force fiercely pulled on the thread. Not good. Liao's face changed greatly. With a putong, Liao's entire body was completely submerged in the lake. On the beach of the Misty Island, Luo Feng sat cross-legged like a statue. Walala, the water of the lake beside him rippled and occasionally crashed against the beach. However, the weird thing was, none of the water-type monsters dared to climb onto the shore. After a while, Luo Feng, who was sitting cross-legged, opened his eyes. Why isn't this Liao here yet? Could it be? When he passed through the lake, he died in the lake. Luo Feng let out a smile. It wouldn't be weird if he really died in the lake. With his black god set, he'll probably be hard to kill. However, if he's trapped at the bottom of the lake by a water-type monster, he'll use up an astonishing amount of oxygen. Without oxygen to breathe underwater, he might suffocate to death. Luo Feng turned his head and looked towards the island. Silence. The entire island was silent. Only the sound of the wind blowing through the tree branches could be heard. Among advanced-level war gods, I'm pretty close to invincible right now, unless it's an emperor-level monster. Under normal circumstances, it's unlikely for me to be killed. Let's go take a look inside the island. Luo Feng couldn't suppress his curiosity, along with his confidence in his own strength. Luo Feng raised his hexagonal shield and ghost blade to the max and was ready to attack with his throwing knife. Just like that, he carefully entered the island and disappeared into the mist in the distance as he started his exploration. After a while, on the beach on the other side of the island, an angry roar rang out, and the lake at the edge of the beach suddenly rose. Blood splattered everywhere, and a black figure soared into the sky, landing on the beach. Finally, I've reached the shore. The black figure slumped onto the beach. After a long time, he finally caught his breath. Scary, what a scary lake. Liao's face was filled with fear as he looked at the huge lake in front of him. When he was young, Liao had traveled all over the world. He had even traveled to lakes that were much larger than this lake in front of him. He had even fought with the monsters in the sea. But Liao had never been in such a difficult situation before. He had never been so close to death. Just now, when he was crazily fleeing for his life underwater, he had already run into more than 10 high Lord rank aquatic monsters. There were even more Lord-class monsters. In other words, most of the aquatic monsters in the lake were very powerful. There are countless commander-level water-type monsters, but soldier-level monsters are few and far between. What kind of lake is this? I've never heard of such a scary lake in the world. Liao's face was ugly. In a lake with a circumference of 100 miles, I've already run into more than 10 high lord rank monsters. I'm afraid that the entire lake has close to 100 high lord rank monsters. With this ratio, I'm afraid that even China's number 003 city, the place known as the Monster Den, wouldn't be much stronger than this. And in terms of danger, this lake was clearly much scarier than number 003 city's original Shanghai. After all, the aquatic monsters here are more concentrated, and the water has a limit on the strength of human fighters. Pu. Liao coughed and spat out 2 mouthfuls of blood. The water does have a huge limit on my strength. If I was on land and faced 10 high lord rank monsters, even if I couldn't win, I could still escape. But this time, I'm badly injured. Liao couldn't help but spat out another mouthful of blood. He sat on the beach and began to rest. He was very clear on how serious his injuries were this time. His right arm was broken, and 2 of his ribs were broken. His internal organs were seriously injured. Even though the Black God set's defensive capabilities are very strong, it's not very effective against pure gravity attacks. And in the water, Liao was trapped alive and almost strangled to death. Even though he risked his life to escape, his ribs were still crushed and his internal organs were heavily injured. Right now I need a rest. If I fight a large battle, it'll cause even more damage to my body. Liao no longer had any arrogance. He was completely scared of the lake. Thankfully, he had the Black God set. Otherwise, even if he had 10 lives, he'd still be dead. Vanina. Liao picked up his wife's phone. Confirm Luo Feng's current coordinates for me. As he said that, Liao couldn't help but to pant heavily. His chest felt very uncomfortable. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Red Alliance brothers and sisters, happy 11th. Chapter 149. Liao looked at his tactical communications watch. His wife sent him the exact coordinates on the map. HM? He's already inside the island? Liao wasn't shocked but happy. If that location didn't move at all, Liao would suspect that Luo Feng left his tactical communications watch there. And now, the location has moved. This means that Luo Feng has been wearing his tactical communications watch. I'll heal first. With my body's recovery rate, I'll be fine in 2 days. I'll be able to stabilize it in half a day. Liao couldn't care less about chasing after Luo Feng. He sat cross-legged on the beach and healed. Mist pervaded the air on the island. That's weird. Luo Feng, who was fully armed, carefully moved forward in the forest of the island. As he looked at the surrounding trees, he became more and more confused. I'm already 2 to 3 miles into the island, but I still haven't seen any traces of monsters. Looks like there really aren't any monsters on this island. The only weird thing is, it's the end of winter on the continent of Australia, but the temperature on this island is quite high. The trees and flowers are as lush as during spring and summer. Luo Feng was very confused. Just what secrets does this island hold? The trees were lush, the flowers were bright, and the thorns were everywhere. It seemed to be full of life. However, there were no living things. Luo Feng carefully moved forward step by step. Around 100 meters away from Luo Feng, there was a pink flower in the middle of the flowers. This flower was even bigger than a wash basin and much brighter than the other flowers around it. At this time, Luo Feng was walking towards the flower step by step. He was getting closer and closer. Finally, Luo Feng arrived. Such a bright flower. It's rare to see such a bright flower at the end of winter on the continent of Australia. Luo Feng looked at it for a bit and continued walking. Just as Luo Feng took 2 steps, whoosh, the pink flower that was originally bigger than a wash basin suddenly expanded and bloomed to a diameter of 3 to 4 meters. This gigantic flower was like lightning as it shot towards Luo Feng. It was like a cover that fell from the sky and directly enveloped Luo Feng. It wanted to swallow Luo Feng whole. Ever since he entered the Misty Island, Luo Feng didn't relax at all and maintained an extremely careful state. Luo Feng's eyes flashed coldly. Whoosh, whoosh, shio. 3 black flowing lights instantly shot from Luo Feng's side towards the gigantic flower. Each throwing knife contained a terrifyingly powerful piercing power. Like 3 rays of death, They instantly pierced through the gigantic pink flower that enveloped Luo Feng. The three-knife lights spun a few times, and the flower was instantly cut into pieces, scattering everywhere. A flying dagger directly cut through the extended blood-red roots of the huge flower. Chi! It was like cutting through a steel bar, cutting through the roots. Man-eating flower? Luo Feng turned his head to look at the flower pieces on the ground, and then at the broken stem. Gulp! The stem's broken section was still dripping blood. It was extremely peculiar. There are very, very few mutated man-eating flowers. The most abundant man-eating flowers in the world are in the South American Amazon. Luo Feng frowned in confusion. Why would a man-eating flower appear on this island? The Grand Nirvana period's mutation was actually the mutation of animals. Man is a kind of animal. Large amounts of monsters were born, and powerful human fighters were born. However, the plants didn't mutate. The trees were still trees, and the flowers and grass were still flowers and grass. Only one type of flower mutated, the man-eating flower. There were originally several types of man-eating flowers, but after the mutation, there were dozens of types. Because the other plants didn't mutate, only the man-eating flower mutated. So many scientists loudly declare that the man-eating flower was a special form of animal. Weird, weird. A man-eating flower actually appeared here. Luo Feng shook his head and continued forward. Indeed, this man-eating flower posed no threat to a powerful spirit reader like him. After experiencing the man-eating flower's attack, Luo Feng became even more careful. He moved forward extremely slowly, but this slowness was only relative. It was still much faster than a normal person walking. Half an hour later. Willow tree. Luo Feng looked at the willow tree in the distance and couldn't help but to let out a smile. Most of the trees on this island were rare, and Luo Feng was all too familiar with willow trees. Many places in Yangzhou City used willow trees for greenery, so Luo Feng had a good impression of willow trees. Perhaps because no one has been here for a long time, the willow trees here grew extremely tall and thick. 1, 2, 3, 4. A total of 9. 9 willow trees. What thick willow trees? Luo Feng walked over. The 9 willow trees in front of him were indeed extremely thick. The thinnest willow tree had a diameter of around 1 meter, and the thickest willow tree had a diameter of 3 meters. It's usually hard to even see a single willow tree of this size. Because the plants on this island were very lush, the thousands of branches of these 9 willow trees swayed with the wind. 9 super willow trees. Such a thick willow tree. Each of them had hundreds of millions of branches dancing in the air. This island sure is amazing to be able to grow such thick willow trees. And the plants here aren't just willow trees. The other plants seem to be full of life. Even at the end of winter, they can grow leaves. Luo Feng sighed. Chi, chi, chi. When Luo Feng was sighing beside the 9 huge willow trees, almost in an instant, all the branches of these willow trees crazily danced and swiftly wrapped around Luo Feng like threads. Their speed far surpassed the speed of sound. Even Luo Feng, at such a close distance, wouldn't be able to dodge the countless branches that covered the sky. What's this? Luo Feng's expression changed greatly. Keep in mind that even the thinnest willow tree reached a height of 30 to 40 meters, comparable to a 10-story building. As for the thickest willow tree with a diameter of 3 meters, it reached a height of nearly 100 meters. Such a tall and terrifying willow tree also had an unimaginable number of willow branches. Each willow branch was more than 100 meters long. As it spread, it covered the sky and covered the earth. Break! Luo Feng ferociously charged forward. At the same time, the 6 throwing knives on the surface of his body were like wind and fire wheels. They revolved around his body and crazily cut the surrounding willow branches. Luo Feng's throwing knives can kill quite a few advanced-level war gods. Under this level of attack, the willow branches were swiftly cut apart. However, when they were cut apart, they felt like they were cutting steel bars. According to Luo Feng's spiritual forces feeling towards the throwing knives, the toughness of each willow branch could probably block the blade of an advanced-level warlord fighter. At this level, even a guided missile would have a hard time destroying them. Of course, under Luo Feng's charge, the throwing knives revolved and swiftly cut large amounts of willow branches in half. Luo Feng was about to charge out. Boom! The thickest willow tree king in the center, which had a diameter of 3 meters, actually shot out willow branches that glowed with a light golden color. There were so many of them, close to 10,000 of them. Each willow branch was several hundred meters long. They practically instantly enveloped Luo Feng and directly clashed with Luo Feng's throwing knives. Shishi! The revolving throwing knives cut apart a light golden willow branch with difficulty. Not good. Luo Feng's expression changed greatly. Retreat. He swiftly retreated and dodged the light golden willow branches that enveloped him. It's already so hard for me to cut apart a light golden willow branch. Once I'm surrounded by these tens of thousands of light golden willow branches, I'll be in danger. Even though he can still control his throwing knives to cut apart the willow branches, he can't take the risk. After all, if he fails, he dies. Facing the dancing light golden willow branches that surrounded him, Luo Feng ferociously stabbed into the ground as he retreated. Pu. The 3 throwing knives revolved and instantly pierced through the ground, and Luo Feng directly stabbed in. His spiritual force was used on his feet, causing his entire body to be like a diamond machine as he swiftly pierced into the ground. Shishi. A large amount of light golden willow branches swiftly pierced into the ground. However, the light golden willow branches that were only a few hundred meters long couldn't penetrate too deep into the ground. And the main attack power of the willow branches was to bind people to death. The branches were forked, so their ability to drill into the ground couldn't compare to Luo Feng's throwing knives. After the light golden willow branches danced in the air, they returned to the branch of the super willow tree king. The other normal willow branches continued to dance in the wind as usual. Deep underground, in the rock layer, Luo Feng blasted out a small cave here. Luo Feng was dirty, leaning against the rock behind him. Drip, drip! The water in the rock layer continued to drip. How pathetic! Luo Feng laughed at himself. Now I know why there aren't any flying monsters or beasts living on this fog island. Luo Feng recalled the scene just now and was still amazed. Unbelievable, unbelievable. Even a willow tree can attack. If this news gets out, the entire world will be shocked. The plants on Earth had never mutated, except for the man-eating flower. But on this misty island, Luo Feng wasn't too surprised when he found the man-eating flower, but when the willow tree attacked him, he was stunned. Especially that willow tree king. Even normal advanced-level war gods aren't its opponent. If the willow tree can attack, then I'm afraid that many of the plants on the island are also aggressive. If a monster dares to come, it would have been killed by these plants a long time ago. Luo Feng was shocked to himself. The continent of Australia had never been inhabited since the Grand Nirvana period. This was a paradise for monsters. The monsters probably already knew that this fog isle was special, so none of them dared to enter. Only a few fighters would occasionally come here to train. However, the number of fighters that come to the continent of Australia is way too few. For the continent of Australia, which is several million square kilometers in size, fighters haven't even entered most of the places in the continent of Australia in just a few decades. This fog isle is one of them. Humans have never discovered its secret before, and now Luo Feng has discovered it. That Liao doesn't have many of the abilities of a spirit reader. He can't fly, so his drilling speed is too slow. On this fog isle, it's hard to say if he can survive. When he encounters danger, I'll hit him while he's down. Luo Feng didn't mind that his methods were cruel. In this underground rock layer, Luo Feng was very relaxed. Suddenly, he took out a cell phone from his backpack. There are benefits to having an expensive cell phone. Even underground, the signal is so good. Luo Feng smiled as he made the call. Hello, bro. Luo Hua's surprised voice rang. How are you doing in the continent of Australia? Before, Luo Feng used his cell phone to call his family and told them that he would be in the continent of Australia in August, so he wouldn't call them often. How is it? Luo Feng looked at the rocks around him and the continuously dripping water. He slightly smiled. Great, the place I'm at right now is very safe. Hee hee, there's even water, 2 chapters finished. Tomorrow is Saturday, oh right. Chapter 150. In a dark underground cave, Luo Feng was smiling as he chatted with his brother. As long as it's safe, oh yeah, bro, about the continent of Australia. I've been researching the continent of Australia on the internet. The internet says that the continent of Australia is one of the 3 most dangerous places in the world. There are countless powerful monsters. I even saw some videos about the continent of Australia. The monsters in the videos are all very powerful. Luo Feng laughed as he heard his brother's words. Don't worry, I can kill those monsters like chopping vegetables. When he was hunting in the wilderness, his parents and brother were already very worried. Now that he's in the continent of Australia, Luo Feng didn't want his family to worry too much, so he made himself sound more serious. Of course. In fact, those monsters were indeed a piece of cake for him. Luo Hua, how's your relationship with your girlfriend? Asked Luo Feng. Not bad, his brother's voice carried a bit of helplessness. I just can't see Nan. Don't worry, bear with it, comforted Luo Feng. His brother knew. I understand. Nan is actually under more pressure than me. Luo Hua and Xiao Nim were lovers. After experiencing Luo Hua jumping into the lake, the 2 of them cherished each other even more. However, one thing is for sure. Zhennan's parents forbade Luo Hua and Zhennan from being together. In their eyes, they definitely wouldn't allow their daughter to marry a wheelchair-bound disabled person. However, Nan has to work the hardest. On one side, she has to deal with her parents. On the other side, she has to coax Luo Hua. She's afraid that Luo Hua won't be able to get over it. Luo Hua spoke Luo Feng. His brother's voice was a bit low. Clearly, Nan's situation is a sore spot for him. At the end of this year, I can get an elixir of life, said Luo Feng. Far away in Jiangnan headquarters city, Yangzhou City's Mingyue sector, Luo Hua. At this time, Luo Hua, who was sitting in his wheelchair, was talking to his brother on the phone in his room. What? Luo Hua froze. At the end of this year, I can bring an elixir of life back. When that time comes, you can stand up, Luo Hua froze. Can stand up? Stand up? I can stand up. Luo Hua sat in the wheelchair, trembling uncontrollably. His face was flushed red, and he said excitedly, Brother, are you saying that it will happen this year? Didn't you say that the water of life was only auctioned occasionally and that it couldn't be bought with money? Are you confident now? Luo Feng's voice carried from the phone. Luo Hua, the elixir of life isn't as rare as you think. Luo Hua was stunned. The reason why the elixir of life is so rare right now is just a trick played by the American government. Don't worry, I can definitely get my hands on this elixir of life. Luo Feng's voice was filled with confidence. Leave it to me. A trick played by the American government? Luo Hua was confused. Marika? That was one of the 5 most powerful countries in the world, one of the superpowers alongside China, Russia, and so on. The methods that the government of such a powerful country played sounded so frivolous and casual in his brother's words, as if he was full of confidence. You can tell Xiaonan. Luo Feng's voice resounded. Tell her, you'll soon have legs and walk like a normal person. Brother, didn't you say to keep it a secret? Luo Hua was shocked. Luo Feng once said, once the elixir of life and that huge sum of money are revealed, Luo Feng's life may be in danger. There's no need to keep it a secret anymore, said Luo Feng. Now that Li Yao is leading his people to kill him in the continent of Australia, what's there to keep secret? And once he tells Zhennan about his brother, then Zhennan won't feel too much pressure. And Luo Feng is worried about one thing. Zhennan will change her mind. Maybe because her brother jumped into the lake, Zhennan will be moved and stay by his side no matter what. But this feeling won't last long. Once too much time passes, the pressure from their parents will be too great and Zhennan might change her mind. Of course, this is only one possibility, but Luo Feng doesn't want this to happen. With his understanding of his brother, Luo Hua probably won't be able to take another blow. So, he might as well let Zhennin know that his brother can stand up. That way, Zhennin won't change her mind. Nowadays in China, many girls who live in low-rent housing want to marry a rich man and marry a man who has his own house. So the best way for a man to protect his girl is to earn enough money. That way, his girlfriend won't be tempted by money because her boyfriend already has money. One theory: let Zhennin know that Luo Hua's future is limitless, so of course she won't change her mind. Luo Hua, tell Xiaonan that you will hold hands with her and walk to her parents together, encouraged Luo Feng. The call ended. Luo Hua sat in front of his laptop for a while before starting a video call with Xiaonan. Xiaonan, Luo Hua sat in front of his computer and a video chat window appeared on his screen. On the video was Xiaonan's profile picture. Since it's already August and it's summer vacation, Xiaonan spent most of her time at home, so she naturally had a lot of opportunities to chat with Luo Hua. What's the matter? Why are you so excited? Zhennan smiled sweetly. Xiaonan, my brother said, I'll be able to stand up by the end of this year, said Luo Hua excitedly. What? Zhennan froze. I said, I'll be able to stand up by the end of this year like a normal person. I'll be able to walk like a normal person, and I'll be able to go to the park with you, go shopping with you, and eat at restaurants, said Luo Hua excitedly. His eyes couldn't help but to tear up. Really? Zhennan couldn't believe it. Yes, Luo Hua said, my brother has even met the world's most powerful man Hong, and chatted with him. There are some special treasures in the world. Zhennan originally didn't dare to believe it. After all, it was impossible for current technology to regrow broken legs. But she knew. Her boyfriend's brother was a magical person. Now she heard that her boyfriend's brother had actually met the world's most powerful man Hong. Maybe he really had some heavenly means. When the time comes, I'll hold your hand and walk in front of your parents, said Luo Hua. Yes. Zhennan nodded as tears flowed down her face. God knows how much pressure she had been under these days. When Luo Hua jumped into the lake, the news of her and Luo Hua's relationship had already spread in the surrounding area. There were already people gossiping behind their backs. Although Zhennan's heart was firm, it was still uncomfortable to be gossiped about. Finally, in the future, she could stand up straight. Luo Hua sat quietly in front of his laptop. The chat with his girlfriend had already ended. My fate has actually changed just like that. Luo Hua could still hear the faint sound of car horns coming from outside. This was a headquarters city, a bustling and extremely safe headquarters city. And his brother was in one of the three most dangerous places, the continent of Australia. The two brothers were in two different places, as if they were in two different worlds. And his brother was already at the top of this world. When he spoke, he directly mentioned the American government and talked about money in the billions. Brother, thank you, said Luo Hua to himself. One of the three most dangerous places on Earth, the continent of Australia. This was an extremely mysterious place in the continent of Australia, Misty Island, in a cave in the underground rock stratum of the Misty Island. The cave was incomparably dark. Only Luo Feng's tactical communications watch's screen emitted a bit of light. This weak green light was even more inconspicuous in the dark cave. One could barely make out a blurry silhouette sitting cross-legged. Luo Feng was currently training his genetic energy. After who knows how long, in the dark cave, Luo Feng opened his eyes. My arm is much better. Luo Feng waved his left arm. His fractured left arm was mostly healed now. I wonder if that Li Yao died in the lake or if he came to the Misty Island. As he looked at his tactical communications watch, it was already 3 p.m. Let's go up and take a look. I can't just stay here forever. With a thought from Luo Feng, the three flowing lights immediately revolve around each other. Like a sharp awl, they directly pierce through the rock stratum. Luo Feng clasped his hands above his head. His hands were right behind the three flowing lights, and he immediately rushed upwards. Shishi. As of now, Luo Feng's skin is much tougher than diamond. His body barely reached the beginner level war god level. Even an armor-piercing bullet from a sniper rifle can't break his skin. Luo Feng's clasped hands are much more powerful than a steel awl. And with the 3 throwing knives leading the way, it's even easier. Straight up, of course, Luo Feng purposely took a slightly different path than the one he took when he first went underground. Luo Feng didn't want to be attacked by the Willow Tree King as soon as he showed his head. A painful sound carried from the surface of the ground. Sound transmission through the earth is good, and war god hearing is even more amazing. Is that a human's voice? Luo Feng's eyes flashed. There's someone else on this misty island. Li Yao. The first thing Luo Feng thought of was Li Yao. Whoosh. Luo Feng still didn't dare to go too fast. The closer he got to the surface, the slower he became. At the same time, his spiritual force has already spread out to a range of 80 meters. After that, Luo Feng silently showed his head and happened to be in a bush. Luo Feng immediately saw Li Yao, who was dressed in black, in the distance. Right now, Li Yao's face was pale, and there was blood on the corner of his mouth. However, his eyes were shockingly bright. Pu. Li Yao spat out 2 mouthfuls of fresh blood as he stared at the 9 thick willow trees in the distance. Seeing this, Luo Feng couldn't help but to think to himself, looks like this Li Yao has seen the peculiarities of these willow trees and suffered from them. It's me, Vanina. Li Yao was looking at his tactical communications watch as he excitedly said, "Yeah, what's up?" asked Vanina. We're rich. I'm currently on an island with endless wealth and treasures. I've already found over 12 spirits of nature. Li Yao couldn't hold back his excitement. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 151. What did you say? Vanina's voice changed. That's right, it's the floral spirit. Li Yao hastily said, Oh God, you said you found 12 floral spirits? Are you kidding me? Vanina, who was far away in the Paris Bay City, was so excited that she couldn't control herself. She knew very well what this essence of nature was, and she also knew how shocking its value was. It was definitely more tempting than gold on the ground. Luo Feng, who was hiding far away and only slightly poking his head out of the ground, slightly frowned. What is a spirit of nature? He had never heard of it before. Vanina, this misty island is very strange. There are no monsters here, but there are spirits of nature. Earlier, I discovered 3 nature spirits that looked like weeds, and I almost suffered a great loss. And just now, I found 9 willow tree-type spirits of vegetation. Just like that, I found 12 of them. I believe that there are definitely more than 12 spirits of vegetation on the entire Misty Island. There might be even more. Li Yao continued. Once we take these spirits of vegetation away, we'll be rich. Just one essence of nature was enough to scare people to death. Don't talk about price. Talking about price is insulting them. Such a treasure, no faction would be willing to sell it. This is especially true for willow-type vegetation spirits. The famous 1,000-year willow heart back on Earth is the core of a willow's vegetation spirit. Li Yao hastily said, As far as I know, the willow tree back then was only 1 meter thick, but there are 9 of them here. The thinnest one has a diameter of 1 meter, and the thickest one has a diameter of more than 3 meters. Willow trees. Even ordinary willow trees were very thick. However, a willow tree that had transformed into a vegetation spirit was different from an ordinary willow tree. These vegetation spirits already had a spirit and had a simple consciousness of attack and self-defense. The more powerful a plant spirit was, the more precious it was. If I was 1 step slower, I would have died under the hands of the biggest vegetation spirit. Luckily, I had the Black God Set's transformation ability. Li Yao hastily said, The 1,000-year-old willow heart, after taking it, can greatly increase the activity of human cells and increase the recovery speed of the body by many times. Secondly, the quality of your body will also improve. And that was only a 1,000-year willow heart. I reckon the one before us with a diameter of more than 3 meters should be called a 10,000-year willow heart. This willow tree king alone is a priceless treasure. I've been an advanced level war god for a long time. If I use the 10,000-year willow heart with its miraculous effects, it's very likely that I'll break through and become an existence surpassing the war god level. Li Yao was extremely excited. However, I'm not this Willow Tree King's opponent. In order to obtain the Willow Tree Heart, one had to chop down the willow tree. This kind of spiritual willow tree would definitely resist. Liao had already felt threatened during the short exchange just now. 9 willow-type vegetation spirits, more than 3 meters in diameter. Vanina was completely dumbfounded. This cake is too big for us, Liao solemnly said. Moreover, I feel that this misty island is very mysterious. To be able to give birth to 9 willow-type vegetation spirits in one place, it's too inconceivable. There must be other spirits of nature on this misty island, even stronger than this Willow Tree King. Vanina, who was at the Paris-based city, also understood that this cake was indeed too big. The couple couldn't swallow it. Vanina, inform your family about this and ask them to send some experts over. Liao instructed, it's best if it's an expert with a black god set or a powerful spirit reader. The weakest must be a normal advanced level war god. As for the others, they don't have the qualifications to interfere at all. Vulture and Scorpion's reputation was too bad. Other than a few brothers who had risked life and death with them in the past, they didn't have many friends. Instead, they had many enemies. Therefore, encountering such an incredible treasure island with so many plant spirits, they simply couldn't swallow it all themselves. He could only rely on the Paulinus family. As one of the core families of the HR Alliance, the Paulinus family already had a few powerful war gods that they supported and had a good relationship with. The Paulinus family was obviously much more powerful than the Vulture-Scorpion couple. I understand, but Yao, I will take the credit for this, Vanina said. No problem. It's useless even if I want the credit. Don't tell me the Paulinus family is willing to let me become the head of the family? Vulture Li Yao sneered. As an outsider, there's no way he can get into the Paulinus family and gain power, so the credit is useless. Oh yeah, Vanina exclaimed. Then Luo Feng won't recognize the spirit of nature and notify the dojo of limits? He won't. Vulture Li Yao sneered. That Luo Feng came to this misty island a long time ago. If he can recognize the spirit of nature and notify the dojo of limits. The dojo of limits probably arrived a long time ago. What's more, how many spirits of nature have appeared in the history of Earth? Most of them have been taken over by Hong, Thunder, or the 5 great countries. Very few people know about the spirit of nature. Only a few experienced war gods know about it. Normal fighters don't even know about it. How old is Luo Feng? He's been training so hard. How would he know about these bits of information? After Vulture Li Yao hung up, Luo Feng, who was a few hundred meters away, silently sank back into the ground. Liao, I didn't know before, but you told me yourself. Luo Feng returned to the pitch-black cave in the underground rock layer. With the light from his tactical communications watch and his amazing vision, Luo Feng could clearly see everything around him. 1,000-year willow heart? 2 effects. One increases cell activity, and the other greatly increases body fitness level. Luo Feng was shocked. Just this bit of information was enough to shock him. Even a portion of dragon blood can increase body fitness level. Comparing the effects of the 1,000-year willow heart to the dragon blood, it's hard to say which is stronger. Greatly increases cell activity? This alone is enough to make people go crazy. The so-called cell activity is actually a type of body recovery ability. For example, among monsters like the Emperor-level monster Earth Dragon King, even if someone cuts off a part of its body, it will still grow back at a speed visible to the naked eye until another part grows out. This is cell activity. For people with high cell activity, if their organs are heavily injured and they vomit blood, their organs will recover in half a minute. For example, if their arm bones are broken, they will recover in a short amount of time. The higher the cell activity, the faster the recovery. Sure enough, the 1,000-year willow heart is special. According to what Li Yao said, that Willow Tree King is more likely to have a 10,000-year willow heart. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at his tactical communications watch. Through his tactical communications watch, he quickly entered the fighter discussion boards of the Home of Limits. Luo Feng wanted to enter the warlord discussion boards to search for information. HM, the war god discussion boards. Why is they lit up? I can enter the war god discussion boards now? These few months of training in the elite training camp, Luo Feng didn't know that ever since his Black Dragon ranking entered the top 50, the Dojo of Limits automatically increased his authority and allowed him to enter the war god forums. For example, the 3 chiefs of the Dojo of Limits in headquarter cities can also enter the war god discussion boards. Some people aren't war gods, but they have the authority to enter the war god discussion boards. Luo Feng is one of them. I can definitely search for more information in the war god discussion boards. After Luo Feng entered, he swiftly typed in the word Spirit of Nature and searched for posts. Beep. On the screen of the Tactical Communications Watch, a list of posts quickly appeared. There were a total of 28 posts, all of which were about the Spirit of Nature. Even though very few people know about the Spirit of Nature, you can still find some information about it in the War God discussion boards. The origin of the Spirit of Nature doesn't seem to be the same. Luo Feng finished browsing through the 28 posts. Some people say the Spirit of Nature is created through a special mutation. Some people say that the Spirit of Nature evolved after absorbing the special energy of the universe. And some people say that there were some spirits of nature in the ancient times. However, after industrialization, the destruction to nature was too great, so the spirits of nature disappeared. And now, after the Grand Nirvana period, monsters are everywhere, but the natural environment is much better. The sky is also blue and white, and spirits of nature are born. Of course, the opinions aren't the same. However, one thing is for sure. After a plant transforms, it will become a spirit of nature. As long as you don't get close, you won't be a threat. And every spirit of nature contains the essence of the world, so they all have special effects. Luo Feng looked at the introduction of the spirits of nature in the posts. 1,000-year willow heart, green grass dew, steel armor spirit orb. However, almost all of these treasures are taken by the 5 great countries, the 2 dojos, and the HR Alliance. Not many war god fighters have them. According to what's written, the 1,000-year willow heart is even more effective than a portion of dragon blood in raising my body fitness level. And it can greatly increase my cell's activity. Luo Feng sighed to himself. If a portion of dragon blood can be sold for 80 billion, then what about the 1,000-year willow heart? No wonder the 5 great countries and the 2 dojos are fighting for it. And now, there are spirits of nature on the Misty Island, and it seems like there are a lot of them. Holy! Paris headquarters city, in a spacious hall with a pointed roof. The floor was made of black marble, and there was a golden conference table that was around 10 meters long. There were a total of 5 black chairs with complicated engravings. And right now, there were 5 old men sitting on these 5 chairs. 4 old men and 1 old woman. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed throughout the hall, like the sound of spring water. These 5 people all turned their heads toward the entrance. They're here. The silver-haired white old man sitting on the main seat smiled as he said. A mysterious person covered in a black robe walked forward step by step. Behind him was a burly barbaric man with a shield on his back and a huge sword in one hand. The other person was an extremely skinny man with a pale face. He had 2 short blades on his waist. Once these 3 people entered the hall, the entire hall seemed to become a bit gloomy. The eyes of the black-robed man in the lead were as deep as the ocean. Immediately, the 5 old men stood up from their seats and welcomed these 3 powerful fighters. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Man, 1 Saturday has passed, and I've already fallen to 5th place. Yeah, right now is the double monthly vote period, so it's the best time to vote. Brothers, please support Tomato and vote Tomato. Thank you. Chapter 152. Catalan, my child, this time I'll need your help. The silver-haired old man who held the most power in the Paulinus family smiled and said. The leading black, cloaked man slightly bowed. Uncle, after receiving your message, I immediately brought my 2 good friends here. The first thing I did was to bring my 2 good friends here. The one next to me is the world-famous Blood Shadow, Ivan. As he spoke, the lean man next to him bowed slightly as a form of greeting. As for this one, he is also my good friend, Giant Bear Kada, said the black cloaked man. The barbarian man slightly bowed. Sorry to trouble you too. The silver-haired old man smiled and said, Catalan, do you need anyone else? The family, everyone else is just going to die. The black-cloaked man interrupted the Paulinus family head and said with a bit of dissatisfaction, Humph. Even Vulture Liao didn't have the ability to get spirits of nature on that misty island. You can imagine how dangerous this trip will be. The war gods that the family raises and the war gods that the family itself has aren't qualified. This sentence was arrogant enough. It was purely looking down on the other war gods in the family. But the one who said this was Illusion Demon Catalan. Out of all the war god fighters on Earth, Illusion Demon Catalan is definitely one of the big shots. Even the Dojo of Limits and the Thunder Dojo tried everything they could to get Illusion Demon Catalan to join them. But Catalan was a member of the Paulinus family, so naturally he couldn't join. But one thing was undeniable. The Paulinus family's position in the HR Alliance was largely due to Illusion Demon Catalan. Uncle, this matter can't be delayed. It's already been 12 minutes since I received your message, said the black-cloaked man. I'll immediately head to the continent of Australia. Okay, I'll be in Paris and wait for your good news, Catalan, said the silver-haired old man. The other four old men also smiled. Whoosh! Catalan was the first to turn around and walk out. The other two super experts also followed by his side. If it wasn't for his relationship with Catalan, it would be extremely difficult for Paulinus to invite Giant Bear Kada and Blood Shadow Ivan. Watching Catalan and the others leave, the five elders remained silent for a long time. Patriarch, Catalan only brought two of his brothers with him. In this way, we don't even know how many essence of nature they obtained from the Misty Island. At that time, Catalan would probably embezzle a lot for himself. We're only giving a portion of it to the clan. A bald elder couldn't help but say. The silver-haired old man's gaze was faint as he said indifferently, Greed? Cartland is the most outstanding child of the Paulinus family. The stronger he is, the stronger our Paulinus family is. If he wanted to be the clan leader, he could have been the clan leader 3 years ago. Remember, don't be on guard against Catran. Being on guard will hurt the pride of an expert. The silver-haired old man said slowly. The other elders were silent. In just a moment, whoosh! A completely black, disc-shaped fighter quickly rose into the sky and left the Paris-based city. It turned into a streak of black light and quickly disappeared into the horizon. One of the three most dangerous places in the world, the mysterious foggy island of Australia. In a cave deep underground in the rock stratum. It's about time. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at his tactical communications watch. Around an hour and 30 minutes have passed since Liao contacted Vanina. 90 minutes. Liao, I gave you a full 90 minutes. That's enough. It's time to notify the Dojo of Limits. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked through his tactical communications watch. He opened a number that he used to contact the Dojo of Limits. He uses this number to receive his rewards. If there's anything important, he also uses this number. Right. He needs to notify the Dojo of Limits. Actually, when he heard Liao's call, he was ambitious and wanted to take all of these treasures for himself. However, after reading those posts underground, Luo Feng understood one thing. Even if he can get his hands on them, he doesn't have the strength to take them. An advanced level war god definitely doesn't have the ability to take such an unbelievable amount of essence of nature. If he's too greedy, the consequences will be dire. Also, he's not even a match for Vulture Liao in a head-on battle. Once Vulture Liao finds even more powerful helpers, his chances will be even lower. Not only will he not have the ability to take the treasures, but he might even die under the attacks of so many powerful fighters. So after thinking about it, there's only one best method. Notify the Dojo of Limits. The Dojo of Limits. That's one of the most powerful organizations in the world. Once they make a move, they'll definitely be able to get their hands on the treasures on this misty island. And the Dojo of Limits is very particular about the rules. Since he discovered the misty island and spread the news, the Dojo of Limits will definitely give him some. Otherwise, how can the Dojo of Limits convince the masses? Even though he has to notify the Dojo of Limits, when to notify them is another matter entirely. If Luo Feng notifies the Dojo of Limits right away, the headquarters of the Dojo of Limits is in Hongning Headquarters City in Western Asia, so they might arrive before the Paulinus family. That way, the HR Alliance won't be able to get any scraps, and they probably won't dare to compete with the Dojo of Limits. That way, Li Yao will definitely leave in fear, and Luo Feng won't be able to get someone else to do his dirty work. That's the best method. He told the Paulinus family's people to arrive first and start working hard to harvest the spirits of nature on this misty island. Keep in mind that spirits of nature aren't easy to harvest. Even Luo Feng and Vulture Li Yao lost to the Willow Tree King, so one can only imagine how difficult it is to harvest spirits of nature. The Paulinus family's people worked hard to kill the spirits of nature. Harvest. Halfway. When the Dojo of Limits' people arrive, the Dojo of Limits will definitely make the Paulinus family cough up something. 90 minutes? Isn't 90 minutes too short for them? Luo Feng looked at the number on his tactical communications watch. I hope the Dojo of Limits' people don't arrive before the European people arrive. To be cautious, Luo Feng waited for another 30 minutes. It's about time. Since the entire Misty Island is covered in thick fog, it'll be extremely troublesome to search. If I want to search the entire Misty Island, even a day won't be enough. Luo Feng lightly pressed a button on his tactical communications watch. Make a call. 2 hours after Li Yao made the call, Luo Feng also made a call. Beep, beep. Hello, a low voice carried over. Hello, I'm Luo Feng from the elite training camp, said Luo Feng. What's up? The low voice was monotonous. Luo Feng reported. It's like this. I discovered a large amount of spirits of nature on a mysterious island in the continent of Australia. Over 12 spirits of nature have been discovered on this island, and there's a willow-type spirit of nature that's over 3 meters in diameter. Spirits of nature. The low voice was slightly surprised, then said, Very good. You've found such a treasure land. According to my Dojo of Limits internal distribution rules, anyone who finds a treasure land and sends back information, once it's confirmed, will receive 10% of what the dojo takes. Those who go to battle and excavate will receive a total of 30%. The remaining 60% will go to the Dojo of Limits. Please tell me the coordinates of the Misty Island, continued the low voice. After Luo Feng replied to a few messages, he quickly hung up the phone. Who would have thought that the Dojo of Limits treasures have already become a rule? 10% to the people who discovered it, 30% to the excavators, the rest to the Dojo of Limits? Luo Feng nodded to himself. 10% is enough. Just 10% of those 9 willow-type spirits of nature is enough for me to get a 1,000-year willow heart. I might even have some left over. Asterisk, 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 asterisk 1 hour later. Luo Feng quietly popped his head out from a bush. Where's Li Yao? Right now, it was already nighttime and there was a thick fog. Even though the fog was a lot thinner around the 9 willow spirits of nature, Luo Feng could only barely see around 200 meters away. Li Yao's figure wasn't within this range. I'll just wait. They'll definitely come to this area. Luo Feng stuck half his head out of the grass and looked towards the 9 willow trees in the distance. He quietly waited. His spiritual force spread out a full 100-meter radius and stayed alert. After a while, rumble. A sonic boom rang in the sky. Luo Feng fiercely turned his head towards the sky. And at this time, a disc-shaped fighter jet was in the air above the Misty Island. It stopped floating in midair, and the hatch of the disc directly opened. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The black-robed man Catalan, the barbaric brute Kata, and the skinny man Ethan jumped down from midair and swiftly descended. The Paulinus family has arrived. Luo Feng let out a smile. When the Paulinus family arrived at the Misty Island, a purplish-red triangular fighter jet was flying at an unbelievable speed in the night sky, leaving behind a trail of air currents. Inside the triangular fighter jet, there were a total of 2 people in the fighter jet, both passengers. There were 2 people sitting in the cabin. One of them was very handsome. Even though he was wearing a combat uniform, He gave off an elegant feeling. Looking at his face, he seemed to be in his 30s, but his eyes were quiet and deep, as vast as the sea. There was always a smile on his face, and he seemed to be very relaxed. He is one of the 5 investigators of the Dojo of Limits, Investigator Liu. The dojo master actually sent you here this time. It seems like he really values this island. Inspector Liu looked at the person beside him. That's right. The mysterious person beside him was also wearing a battle uniform, except that he wore a golden mask on his face. Investigator Liu, if you harvest all the spirits of nature on the island, you can get 30% of the total amount. The golden masked man's voice was low. I don't care about these things. The golden masked man said in a low voice, I don't care about these things. If it isn't necessary, I won't make a move. And once I do, you and I will split this 30% equally. After Investigator Liu heard that, he couldn't help but to be overjoyed. The other side didn't do anything and would rather give him the entire 30%. That's too stupid. Those are all spirits of nature. They're treasures that even Hong cares about. Ha! Don't worry. I don't believe that there's anything I can't handle on that island, smiled Investigator Liu. An existence surpassing the war god level. After following Hong for so long, he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve. In the entire world, there are very, very few places that can make him lose. Rumble. The blood-red fighter jet carried the 2 powerful fighters towards the continent of Australia at an astonishing speed. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. The next chapter is going to be a huge battle. Brothers, please vote to support Tomato. Chapter 153. Luo Feng pricked up his ears and indeed heard a rumbling sound. It should be the sound of the Polinus family's men jumping down from the sky and landing on the ground, Luo Feng guessed. At the same time, he swiftly retracted his spiritual force and shrank it from a range of 100 meters to a range of 30 meters. For powerful fighters like an advanced level war god, their spiritual force can sense it. Suddenly, Luo Feng heard a very weak conversation coming from the mist in the distance. Catalan, there are 9 willow-type vegetation spirits in front of us. Liao's voice came from a thick fog in the distance. He spoke fluent English. Spirits of nature usually don't have high attack power. Liao, how come you can't deal with them? A cold voice rang. As he said that, 4 shadows walked out from mist. Luo Feng squinted his eyes and looked through the grass. The leader was wearing a black robe and looked weird. Liao was talking to him on the side, so his attitude was clearly lower. Behind the black robe man was a seemingly sturdy barbaric brute and a skinny white man. And from the looks of it, the barbaric brute and skinny man didn't lower their heads at all in front of Liao. Clearly, they weren't afraid of Liao. From the looks of it, the leader of these 4 is the black robe man, Luo Feng thought to himself. The figures of the 4 people in the distance gradually became clear. Deal with them? That willow tree king has a diameter of 3 meters. The willow-type spirit of nature that nurtured the 1,000-year willow heart only has a diameter of 1 meter. This willow tree king is much more powerful than that one, especially its light, golden willow branches. Every single one of them is extremely tough. If I get bound by them, even I would die for sure. Liao pointed towards the 9 willow-type spirits of nature in the distance. Right there, Liao's group of 4 walked towards the 9 willow trees from around 120 meters away from Luo Feng, because it was night and the mist was thick. Plus, Luo Feng only poked half his head out and he was in the grass. Even Liao, Catalan, and the others didn't notice Luo Feng's existence. Just the 4 of them to deal with the willow tree king? Luo Feng watched silently. It's probably unrealistic for these 4 to cut down the willow tree king. Liao and the other 3 stood about 50 meters away from the 9 willow trees. One of the brutish men said in a low voice, Li, are you saying that these 9 willow trees are all floral spirits? If you don't believe me, you can come closer. Liao sneered. Katran, Liao said solemnly, you see, those 9 willow trees, the core one, which is also the thickest willow tree king, is the most powerful. Moreover, its pale, golden willow branches are enough to cover the surrounding willow trees. so there's no way for me to attack the other willow trees. Catalan observed carefully. Where's the pale gold willow branch? Look, it's wrapped around the entire trunk of the tree, Liao pointed and said. Oh, Catalan also felt that this willow tree king was not ordinary. This willow tree only has one attack, and that is to strangle people to death with its branches. Its trunk cannot be moved, and its roots are deeply rooted in the ground to absorb nutrients, making it impossible to attack, Liao said. This is the same as the willow tree that nurtured the 1,000-year-old willow heart. Catalan nodded his head. There are two ways to kill this willow tree king. The first method is to kill all of its roots. The second is to chop off its trunk. Liao, who was at the side, also nodded his head. Yes, but its pale gold willow branches are 200 to 300 meters long, enough to penetrate into the ground and protect its roots. Moreover, such a big willow tree, its roots must be very developed. Killing its roots is much harder than cutting off its trunk. 200 to 300 meters long. Catalan frowned slightly. Catalan pondered for a moment. Huh. The black robe on Catalan's body instantly disappeared, revealing a black combat uniform underneath. There were daggers pinned to the combat trousers of this combat uniform. There were a total of 12 black daggers. On the back of his combat vest, javelins were stabbed into the ground. A total of 6 javelins were on his back, like a shield made of javelins. He has a black god set. Luo Feng, who was secretly watching from afar, was shocked. There's only one possibility for Catalan's black robe to disappear. That black robe was transformed from a black god set. A black god set can transform into any shape according to a person's will. His weapons are javelins and daggers? Luo Feng frowned slightly. Right now, Catalan's expression was ice cold. The silver javelins and the black daggers all made people's hearts go cold. Liao, who was at the side, squinted his eyes. Leave the willow tree king to me. Catalan's voice was ice cold as he ordered. In a bit, I'll attack the willow tree king. Liao, Kata, Ivan, you 3 attack the other willow trees from the outside. Remember, your safety is the most important thing. After I completely suppress the willow tree king, you guys go all out to chop down the other willow trees. Understood. The savage brute licked his lips. Okay, Ivan slightly nodded. Okay, Liao nodded. Catalan slightly smiled as he saw this. Shishi, his entire body was quickly covered with a black membrane. In an instant, the black membrane covered every part of his skin, including his face. In other words, Catalan's face was also black, and his eyes, nose, and mouth were all sealed. It's very smooth. It could be said that Catalan isn't afraid of any sharp attacks below the level of a war god. Spirit Reader Masters don't need eyes to fight. Seeing this scene, Liao sighed in his heart. All right, let's begin. Katrin's voice could be heard. Whoosh. Catalan was like a bolt of lightning as he charged towards the willow tree king. His speed was so fast that in the blink of an eye, he was less than 10 meters away from the willow tree king. Meanwhile, the willow tree king finally started its attack in anger. A large number of willow branches covered the sky and covered the earth as they frantically attacked Catalan. Furthermore, the pale golden willow branches also quickly joined the battle. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Vulture Liao, Blood Shadow Ethan, and Giant Bear Kata also turned into afterimages in an instant. From the outside, the 3 of them actually joined hands and attacked the same willow tree that was approximately 8 meters in diameter. Black light extended from Liao and Ethan's bodies and covered their entire bodies. Clearly, both of them have black god sets. And because they have black god sets, Liao and Ethan didn't use shields. For people, and 3 of them have black god sets? Luo Feng, who was secretly watching from afar, was shocked. It's not that there are a lot of black god sets on Earth, but that those who dare to come here are all top-level war gods. Even Liao was heavily injured. If they think that they can't keep up with Liao, would they dare to come? Only a few people in the entire world have black god sets, and their numbers are extremely low. Every single one of them has shocking strength. That Catalan is a spirit reader? Luo Feng's eyes were wide open, only to see Catalan was holding a dagger in each of his hands. At the same time, 9 daggers were floating in front of him. Shishi, it was like breaking a tree. The flying dagger easily cut off the willow branches, and soon, a large number of pale golden willow branches shrouded Catalan. Catalan, whose entire body was covered by the black god, did not rely on his eyes to fight. Instead, he relied on his telekinesis, which had a range of 100 meters, to observe everything and fight. Light golden willow branches, not easy to deal with, thought Luo Feng, who was far away. Indeed, Shishi, the 9 floating daggers cut through the light golden willow branches with great difficulty. The 2 daggers that Catalan held with both hands moved at an astonishing speed. Pu, 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 in one breath. He cut through dozens of light golden willow branches and instantly charged out of the encirclement. This scene shocked Vulture Li Yao, who was also paying attention, and Luo Feng, who was secretly watching from afar, was even more shocked. Those are light golden willow branches. Every single one of them is extremely tough. When I cut one back then, I immediately retreated and dug into the ground. Luo Feng was extremely shocked. Only after fighting did he know the toughness of the light golden willow branches. Even Liao can't cut through dozens of them at once. Just how powerful are the daggers in his hands? Yeah, the daggers he controls are extremely strenuous and difficult to cut through the light golden willow branches. Looks like his spiritual force isn't much stronger than mine, thought Luo Feng to himself. However, the daggers he's holding with both hands are much more powerful. This means that the explosive power of his body is extremely shocking. The body fitness level of an advanced level war god, such as some peak advanced level war gods, have a brute force of 400,000 to 500,000 kilograms. And those who use 2 to 3 times their body strength can reach 1,000,000 kg in one punch. And those who use 5 to 6 times their body strength? His body fitness level should be that of an advanced level war god. His body strength is also very high. And then, with the addition of his spiritual force, Luo Feng nodded to himself. This is why his body's strength and spiritual force can explode out in such a shocking manner. The moment he charged out of the encirclement and approached the willow tree king's trunk. Open, roared Catalan. The dagger in his hand fiercely cut across the willow tree king's trunk. Shishi, the horizontal cut, only cut about 6 to 7 centimeters before it couldn't go any further. Green dewy liquid slowly seeped out of the wound on the trunk. Boom! The willow tree king, which was originally splitting its light golden willow branches to attack other people, was finally enraged. Close to 10,000 willow branches crazily danced and completely surrounded Catalan from all directions. Whoosh! Catalan ferociously charged out and at the same time waved his hands. Who? His black arms expanded, and instantly, Catalan had a pair of black arms that were 7 to 8 meters long. His left and right black arms each held a dagger and swung towards the willow branches. As if opening a curtain, the 7 to 8 meter long black arms directly split the large amounts of willow branches to the side. Whoosh! Catalan himself instantly dashed out, and the light golden willow branches immediately wrapped around his black arms. The black arms instantly escaped from the large amounts of light golden willow branches like noodles. Good, the trunk is tough enough. Catalan stood around 100 meters away from the willow tree king and circled around the other willow trees. As he circled around, a silver gray javelin appeared in his hand. Break! Catalan let out a deep roar. His expression was ferocious as he single-handedly held the silver gray javelin. His entire body instantly bent into the shape of a bow. The muscles on his right shoulder bulged to the point that black skin was propped up. The tip of the silver gray javelin had a spiral pattern. Then, as he ran, he threw it like lightning. Whoosh! A bolt of lightning. A spinning bolt of lightning. That javelin was indeed spinning as it flew. A large amount of light golden willow branches danced in the air in an attempt to stop it, but the speed of a javelin was simply too fast. It probably exceeded 10 times the speed of sound. Only 3 willow branches barely touched it. Then, this streak of light ruthlessly stabbed into the willow tree king's trunk. Buzz! A sound like an electric drill piercing through a wooden board suddenly exploded. Chee-chee! The entire javelin actually sank into the willow tree king's trunk. Even the tip of the javelin slightly emerged from the other side of the willow tree king's trunk. Catalan's demonic illusion eye and demonic illusion strike are indeed the 2 world-famous ultimate techniques. When Li Yao saw this, his heart couldn't help but to tremble, combining physical strength and spiritual force to create the demonic illusion strike. Is unbelievable. This attack probably barely surpasses the power of a war god's attack. Luo Feng, who was far away, took in a deep breath. He never thought that there would be such a powerful existence amongst the war gods. Keep in mind that Catalan's dagger only managed to cut less than 10 centimeters. And the entire willow tree king has a diameter of over 3 meters. But now, Catalan's javelin actually pierced through the entire trunk of the willow tree king. Sick. Too scary. Rumble. The entire willow tree king started shaking crazily. At the same time, the light golden willow branches crazily danced and attacked Catalan. Attack the other willow trees, Catalan roared. Yes, Vulture Liao, Great Bear Kata, and Blood Shadow Ethan all attacked the willow tree on the side. Without the willow tree king's help, how could this 8-meter-tall willow tree's spirit of nature defend against the 3 powerful fighters? In just a few seconds, with a rumble, the gigantic willow tree collapsed. Take the 1,000-year willow heart, Liao, Kata, and Ethan swiftly attacked the trunk at the same time. Boom! Pieces of wood flew everywhere, and at the same time, a breathtaking green color flew up. It's the 1,000-year willow heart. Li Yao and the others were overjoyed. Luo Feng also saw the green color with a glance. Since Li Yao and the others stopped attacking the trunk of the willow tree and charged towards that green color, he could tell. That's the 1,000-year willow heart. Also, Luo Feng saw a picture of the 1,000-year willow heart on the war god discussion board. A 1,000-year willow heart that can increase cell activity and body fitness level, and it's the spirit of nature of a 8-meter-tall willow tree. Luo Feng's eyes exploded with a never-before-seen light. That's mine! Whoosh! The formless spiritual force instantly extended outwards. The speed at which the spiritual force extended was so fast that it could almost be called teleportation. A strand of spiritual force instantly wrapped around the 1,000-year willow heart. As it wrapped around the willow heart, Luo Feng's spiritual force naturally invaded the area where Catalan's spiritual force spread out and was discovered by Catalan. Whoosh! The strand of spiritual force instantly retracted. That green light instantly flew towards Luo Feng. Spirit Reader. It took an extremely short amount of time for Catalan's spiritual force to notice Luo Feng's spiritual force and realize that there's a spirit reader there. And in that instant, the green light was only 80 meters away from Luo Feng. Come back, Catalan also used his spiritual force to pull it back. Pong! The 2 formless spiritual forces clashed. Whoosh! That green light directly entered the grass patch where Luo Feng was, and Luo Feng madly drilled into the ground with his fastest speed. 1,000-year willow heart. Liao, Kata, and Ethan all charged over. Catalan also flew over. The 4 powerful fighters stood beside the grass patch and looked at this unassuming hole in the grass patch. The 1,000-year willow heart was stolen. Kata and Ethan were furious. How come there's still someone else? Catalan stared angrily at Li Yao, and it's a spirit reader. His spiritual force is probably nearing the advanced level war god level. It's Luo Feng. It's Luo Feng. Followed Li Yao. Luo Feng, he's... That Luo Feng from the elite training camp? Asked Catalan. Yeah, that's him. I have a grudge against him. Actually, I came here to kill him, but I didn't think that I would find so many spirits of nature, replied Liao. Catalan's face was terrible. Catalan, you're also a spirit reader, so you should be able to catch him, right? Go underground and catch a spirit reader who's almost at the advanced level, war god level. Catalan sneered as he looked at him. How do you think spiritual force is easy to train? After all these years, my body fitness level has reached the peak of the advanced level war god level, but my spiritual force's progress has been slow. When Catalan was young, spirit readers had a period of rapid growth. When Catalan reached the beginner level war god level spirit reader, he stopped. After that, he had to rely on himself to train. Unfortunately, the difficulty of training spiritual force is several times harder than training your body fitness level. After all these years, Catalan's body fitness level has already reached the peak of the advanced level war god level, but his spiritual force is still at the peak of the intermediate level war god level. However, the combination of spiritual force and strength gave him an extremely horrifying power, hence the title of Phantom. Catch an advanced level war god level spirit reader underground? Even an existence surpassing the war god level wouldn't dare to say such a thing, roared Catalan. Kata, patrol the surroundings and don't let that person come any closer. Liao, Ivan, come with me and quickly finish off these willow trees' vegetation spirits. Yes, everyone nodded. Liao could only grit his teeth and endure. Not good. Catalan's face changed. This Luo Feng definitely heard what we said just now. He probably knows that these are spirits of nature. He'll definitely notify the Dojo of Limits. Dojo of Limits? Everyone's complexion changed greatly. Catalan even glared at Liao angrily. Hurry, it'll take the Dojo of Limits at least 3 hours to get here. However, for safety's sake, everyone hurry up and collect the spirits of nature. We must leave within 2 hours, yelled Catalan. No matter how many we collect, we must leave within 2 hours. Yes, at this time. Liao didn't dare to say anything else. Everyone was panicking. Underground, Luo Feng drilled at an astonishing speed and continued to drill down through the rock layer. 1,000-year willow heart. Luo Feng held the 1,000-year willow heart in his hand as his blood boiled and his ambition soared. P.S. 2 chapters completed. These 2 chapters add up to almost 3 chapters. Chapter 154. The underground rock layers were pierced by Luo Feng layer by layer as he went deeper and deeper. He had already completely surpassed the depth of the cave he was resting in before. With one breath, he charged downwards. And after Luo Feng passed through, the rocks and dirt that he pushed away would once again close up. It was very hard to find Luo Feng's tracks. That Catalan is very powerful. I should go deeper underground so that he can't find me. Luo Feng charged down in one breath. Something's not right. When I fought for the 1,000-year willow heart, my spiritual force clashed with Catalan's spiritual force. His spiritual force seems to be slightly weaker than mine. Luo Feng couldn't help but to slow down as he thought about this. Pung! 2 to 3,000 meters underground, above an underground river, a figure broke through the rocks and fell directly into the underground river. Pooh! Luo Feng leapt up and landed on a protruding rock beside the underground river. There's actually an underground river deep underground. Luo Feng stood on the rock and looked towards the 2 sides of the underground river. It was pitch black. The entire underground river was turbulent and was at least 5 to 6 feet wide. The entire underground river seemed to have no place to stand. There don't seem to be any water-type monsters in this underground river Luo Feng didn't notice before. I wonder where the underground river leads to. Luo Feng stood on the protruding rock and looked at it. After that, he shook his head and directly rammed into the rock wall beside him. The rock was as weak as tofu in front of Luo Feng, and a huge hole was immediately created. The 3 black throwing knives opened up a path in front of him, and Luo Feng quickly created a cave 20 to 30 meters away. This cave was only 20 to 30 meters away from the underground river. 1,000-year willow heart. Luo Feng opened his left hand and revealed an egg-shaped green crystal. The structure of this green crystal was very peculiar, as if there was a green liquid flowing within the crystal. The entire 1,000-year willow heart, just by looking at it, made one's heart flutter. Luo Feng felt waves of coolness enter his skin. His entire being felt refreshed. The 1,000-year willow heart could increase the activity of human cells, and it could also improve a person's physical fitness. To the current Luo Feng, this is probably the best treasure. No matter how good the treasure is, it would be a waste to Luo Feng, because Luo Feng isn't too far away from the peak of the war god level. Even if the 10,000-year willow heart was given to him, Luo Feng would at most reach the peak of the war god level and wouldn't be able to break through. From the peak of the war god to existences surpassing the war god, he had to take this step. It was very difficult. This is also the reason why many people are stuck at the advanced level war god level. How do I use this 1,000-year willow heart? Thought Luo Feng to himself. That post said it's for consumption, but is that true? That post might just be a scam. The 1,000-year willow heart was incomparably tough. It would be difficult to destroy it even with a sharp sword. How could he accept such a thing? Just like dragon blood, you can't take it orally. Once you do, you'll die. What about this 1,000-year willow heart? Luo Feng creased his eyebrows. Obtaining treasures was a good thing, but he still needed to know how to use them. If he didn't use them correctly, then they wouldn't bring him any benefits, but instead bring him disaster. He hesitated for a moment. Luo Feng lowered his head to look at his tactical communications watch and dialed a number. Suddenly, hey. A low voice rang out. Hello, I'm Luo Feng from the elite training camp, replied Luo Feng. This number is the number he uses to contact the Dojo of Limits. He uses this number to ask for huge rewards or to contact the Dojo of Limits. And right now, he doesn't know how to use the 1,000-year willow heart. After thinking about it, he decided to ask. After he uses it, his strength will increase by a huge amount, and the dojo will know that he used it. So there's no need to hide it, since he stole it from someone else. What is it? Asked the low voice. I want to ask, how do I use the 1,000-year willow heart? Asked Luo Feng. The other side went silent. Luo Feng couldn't help but to feel nervous. After a while, the voice carried over. The crystal shell of the 1,000-year willow heart is incomparably tough. The liquid inside is the essence. The way to use it is to pierce through the crystal shell and then swallow the liquid inside. Remember not to swallow that crystal shell. Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief. Good thing he asked. The post on the War God forum only said to swallow it, but didn't say how to swallow it. If he stupidly swallowed the entire crystal, he'd be screwed. When you consume it, you'll feel extremely comfortable and won't feel any pain. Depending on how much your strength increases, the duration of the transformation will vary, said the low voice slowly. Is there anything else? No. Thank you, sir, said Luo Feng. Sir? The low voice let out a rare laugh. Ka! The call ended. Yay! In the pitch-black rock cave, Luo Feng's eyes shined brightly like never before under the dim light of his tactical communications watch. Right now, my strength is still a bit lower than Li Yao's with his black god set. However, once I use the 1,000-year willow heart, Luo Feng was filled with anticipation. Ever since the astronomical bounty, he never dared to relax at all. The long-term pressure caused Luo Feng to work extremely hard, and he never relaxed even once in the elite training camp. Maybe the Vulture-Scorpion couple played a huge part in helping him gain the favor of the Dojo of Limits in such a short amount of time and receive a huge reward like dragon blood. Without their pressure, why would Luo Feng work so hard? Vulture-Scorpion, from now on, it's not that I'm afraid of you guys, it's that you're afraid of me. Luo Feng thought. Who? A green egg-shaped crystal floated in midair in front of him. At the same time, an SS-grade throwing knife beside Luo Feng flashed like lightning and pierced the surface of the green egg-shaped crystal. Pucci, under Luo Feng's intentional attack, the tough crystal shell was directly pierced through. Gugu, the liquid essence slowly flowed out of the crystal. However, this green liquid that was filled with life was controlled by Luo Feng's spiritual force as it floated in front of him. Luo Feng opened his mouth. Whoosh! under the control of Luo Feng's spiritual force. The essence of the thousand-year willow heart, which was filled with endless life force, directly flew into Luo Feng's mouth. Even though the entire crystal was the size of an egg, the essence inside was probably only the size of a small wine glass. After swallowing it in one gulp, the essence flowed into his body through his esophagus. Suddenly, a cool and comfortable feeling spread throughout his entire body, even making his soul tremble. Comfortable. The mysterious person on the phone said that eating the thousand-year willow heart doesn't hurt at all. Instead, it feels extremely comfortable. Seems like it's true. Luo Feng laid motionlessly in the rock cave as he clearly felt the minute changes in his body. Luo Feng can't forget the pain he felt when he used the dragon blood. Being able to increase his strength without any pain, of course Luo Feng was happy. So comfortable, I feel like all the muscles in my body are vibrating. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at his hand. Using the weak light from his tactical communications watch, he could see with his naked eye that the skin of his hand was vibrating at a very small but shockingly fast rate. In this vibration, strands of black substance seeped through the pores of his skin. This feeling was amazing. His entire body felt cool. At the same time, he felt like all the muscles in his body left his bones and he lost control. He could only faintly feel the continuous vibrations, as if he was getting a massage. In Luo Feng's body, the essence of the thousand-year willow heart and its endless life force instantly merged into every part of Luo Feng's body. This life force caused Luo Feng's muscles, bones, and cells to undergo shocking changes, like a sapling growing into a towering tree. At this moment, countless cells in Luo Feng's body were undergoing shocking changes. His genes were rapidly developing and perfecting themselves. After getting rid of the useless genes, they were once again perfectly integrated. This speed was extremely fast, and Luo Feng's genes seemed to have absorbed a bit of the thousand-year willow heart's essence, causing his genes to undergo a special change. His cell's activity was rapidly increasing. Under this life force, Luo Feng's entire body was rapidly increasing. The quality of his bones and muscles seemed to have changed. His skin and muscles were also undergoing shocking changes. However, this change didn't bring Luo Feng any pain. Luo Feng only felt as if he was getting a massage, extremely comfortable. In his realm of consciousness, in his boundless realm of consciousness, that dark golden ball was rapidly spinning and continuously releasing energy. And his entire realm of consciousness was covered in a thick fog. At the same time, large amounts of liquid were being produced in this endless fog, just like dewdrops. This speed of increase was simply unheard of. Luo Feng's body fitness level was increasing. His spiritual force was crazily increasing according to the limits of his body fitness level. Luo Feng's body fitness level went from the beginner level war god level, fist strength of around 64,000 kilograms. Normal beginner level war god level, fist strength of around 96,000 kilograms. Peak of the beginner level war god level, fist strength of around 128,000 kilograms. Intermediate level war god level, increasing step by step. The instant his body fitness level reached the intermediate level war god level, the dark golden ball in Luo Feng's realm of consciousness fiercely expanded. After that crack, 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 the entire dark golden ball directly cracked open. An endless amount of spiritual force surged out and filled his entire realm of consciousness. The body fitness level of an intermediate level war god level can already withstand the extreme spiritual force of the war god level. His spiritual force increased. Luo Feng's body fitness level continued to increase. All of the changes finally stopped. Luo Feng quietly laid down in the rock cave next to the underground river that was 2,000 to 3,000 meters deep. The dark golden ball shattered. After his awakening that night, he became a spirit reader, and his future was limitless. He's always been worried about how long the dark golden ball can support him. Keep in mind that many spirit readers stop rapidly increasing after reaching the advanced level war god level or beginner level war god level and use up all of their energy. The number of spirit readers who can rapidly increase to the intermediate level war god level can be counted on one's fingers. My realm of consciousness. Luo Feng's consciousness was immersed in his realm of consciousness. Before, he barely reached the advanced level war god level spirit reader level, so his realm of consciousness was filled with drops of liquid. And now, in his boundless realm of consciousness, mist filled the air and spread out endlessly. Rumble, the surging liquid, was like a galaxy flowing in Luo Feng's realm of consciousness. The spiritual force contained within was simply astonishing. And in this spiritual force liquid galaxy, one could occasionally see some dark golden shards mixed in. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Chapter 155. 2 to 3,000 meters underground, Luo Feng, who was lying flat on his back, finally opened his eyes. Only half an hour has passed since this transformation. Luo Feng lowered his head and looked at the time on his tactical communications watch. His face that was covered in dirt couldn't help but to let out a smile. Half an hour ago, he was already one of the strongest fighters in the War God Circle, but at that time, there were still people like Phantom Demon Catalan who were stronger than him. But now, rumble! Luo Feng casually waved his fist, causing the air to explode. A casual punch of mine can match up to my previous punch strength. My current fitness level is at least that of an intermediate level War God, or even an advanced level war god. Luo Feng could only rely on his vague feeling to confirm that he was at least an intermediate level war god. As for whether or not he was an advanced level war god, he would need to rely on a machine to test it. He wasn't too sure about his physical fitness. However, his mind power was 100% sure. Peak of the war god. A spirit reader at the peak of the war god realm. Luo Feng didn't doubt this at all. The surging Milky Way in his realm of consciousness and the spiritual force he was controlling were much, much stronger than before. Keep in mind that he barely reached the advanced level war god level before. Now that he's improved so much, of course he's at the peak of the war god level. Powerful. It was an incomparably powerful feeling. Everyone knows that a spirit reader at the peak of the war god realm is an invincible existence amongst the war gods. Luo Feng let out a smile. Okay, I'll go wash up first. After that, I'll go see Li Yao, Catalan, and the others. I'll also settle my grudge with Li Yao after all these years, Shua. Luo Feng directly followed the tunnel and rushed to a protruding rock beside the underground river. He used his spiritual force to control a gigantic ball of water to float in front of him and quickly washed his entire body, including his battle uniform. Retreat. In just 3 minutes, Luo Feng fiercely rushed into the sky. Rumble, it broke through layers of rocks and quickly rushed to the surface. On the misty island, it was still nighttime, the mist pervading the air. Pooh! After rushing out of the soil, there are sounds of fighting over there. Luo Feng smiled as he walked towards the direction of the 9 willow trees. Who would have thought that after half an hour, they still haven't chopped down all the willow trees this time? It was almost 1,000 meters away from the 9 willow trees. However, on the incomparably silent misty island, Catalan, Li Yao, and the others crazily attacked the willow-type spirit of nature. The sonic booms they created allowed Luo Feng to easily find them. Oh, Luo Feng looked carefully. At this time, 8 of the 9 willow-type vegetation spirits had already collapsed. Their trunks had been shattered, and their 1,000-year willow hearts had been taken out. Only the last willow tree king was left. The willow tree king, whose trunk was more than 3 meters thick, already had 6 javelins pierced through its trunk. The javelins were all stuck in its trunk. The willow tree king actually had hundreds of pale golden willow branches wrapped around the 6 javelins. Catalan's 6 javelins are stuck in the willow tree king's trunk. Luo Feng watched from afar. After this metamorphosis, his vision became much stronger, almost twice as strong as before. The javelin is stuck in the body, and it's caught by the golden willow branch, so it's hard to pull it out. As for the three Black God set users, Catalan, Ivan, and Liao, they were attacking crazily. This Willow Tree King's trunk is damaged, so its strength is greatly reduced. Hurry! Catalan, who had blood on the corner of his mouth, roared. He crazily swung the two daggers in his hands, and the pale golden willow branches became much slower than before. A large amount of pale golden willow branches were cut off by Catalan, but there were too many willow branches. Break! Liao roared. Yaya! Ivan crazily roared and attacked the Willow Tree King like a tornado. Large amounts of pale golden willow branches were cut off. With the trunk damaged, the speed and binding power of the willow branches decreased by 60 to 70%. However, they were still as tough as before. After being weakened by so much, all Catalan, Liao, and Ivan needed was enough time to cut off all of the pale golden willow branches. Even though these willow branches were very long, once they were cut off, liquid would flow out and their power would greatly decrease, making them even weaker than regular willow branches. Hurry! Hurry up! Catalan's eyes flashed as he hurriedly shouted. After we cut off this Willow Tree King, we still have to steal the other spirits of nature. Okay, understood. Liao and Ethan were swiftly cutting off the light golden willow branches with all their might. As for Keita, he was patrolling the area. However, under the natural conditions of the night mist, Luo Feng had the intention to hide in the bushes and was over 200 meters away, so it was really hard for Keita to find him. Ha, it's broken. It's all broken. Ha, there was a wave of laughter. No matter how many branches there were, they couldn't withstand the crazy attacks of 3 advanced level war gods. Finally, all of the pale golden willow branches were cut off, and liquid flowed out from the broken sections. The damaged pale golden willow branches greatly decreased in power again, and they were no longer a threat to the advanced level war gods. Attack the trunk! Cut! Catalan, Liao, and Ivan crazily rushed over. Keita, come here! Yelled Catalan. Coming, that brute Keita also excitedly rushed over to help. The gigantic Willow Tree King, that was over 3 meters in diameter, couldn't fight back at all. It couldn't move either, so it could only let these 4 humans cut it. After Catalan pulled out 6 javelins, he crazily cut down the holes that the javelins created. Clearly, attacking from the inside is easier, and with each cut, the toughness of the Willow Tree King's trunk actually decreased. Shishi, the large amount of branches that were originally full of leaves, started to wither. The entire trunk of the Willow Tree King also quickly lost its life force. The speed at which it lost its life force was clearly visible to the naked eye. With the loss of life force, the trunk's defense clearly weakened. Boom! The entire Willow Tree King slowly fell. The towering, gigantic Willow Tree King smashed through some trees and flowers on the side. Finally, with a rumble, it smashed onto the ground of the Misty Island. Haha! We finally succeeded. Hurry! Find the 10,000-year Willow Heart. Catalan and the others were extremely excited. In order to cut down this Willow Tree King, they spent 10 times more energy than destroying the spirits of the other 8 willow trees combined. Luo Feng, who is far away, has been watching for over 10 minutes. Thankfully, my transformation only took 30 minutes, so I can see the scene of them cutting down the Willow Tree King. Luo Feng let out a smile. Since the dojo of Limit's people haven't arrived yet, that's good too. Luo Feng, who underwent a transformation in the depths of the earth, greatly increased his strength. Right now, it's time for him to give it a try. The rumbling continued. The group of people were currently cutting down the Willow Tree King's trunk. Hurry, hurry and find it. Catalan and the others wanted to find the 10,000-year Willow Heart from within the trunk. Catalan's spread-out spiritual force felt someone enter. He couldn't help but to be surprised and immediately turned his head to look. 100 meters away, Luo Feng, who was wearing a battle uniform with a shield on his back and a simple ghost blade in his hand, slowly walked out of the dark mist and headed towards them. Keita, Ethan, and Liao also noticed. Luo Feng. Liao's eyes exploded with ferocity. Long time no see. Luo Feng smiled as he looked at Liao. Catalan looked at Luo Feng and let out a cold smile as he spoke in awkward Chinese. Luo Feng, if you hid underground, I wouldn't be able to catch you with your spirit reader abilities. However, you actually came to dry land. How stupid. Great Bear Kata and Blood Shadow Ethan also let out cold smiles. None of Catalan's group of three is weaker than Li Yao. The three of them and Li Yao, this group of four, would be afraid of Luo Feng? Could it be that you used the 1,000-year Willow Heart and instantly became a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level War God level? Catalan sneered. As a spirit reader, of course he knew that spirit readers are extremely rare, and most spirit readers have the talent to rapidly increase their strength to the advanced level Warlord level. Reaching the beginner level War God level is already not bad. Intermediate level War God level spirit readers are already extremely rare. As for those who can instantly increase their strength to the advanced level War God level, they can be counted on one hand. Spirit readers who can instantly increase their strength to the peak of the advanced level War God level? In the entire world, are there only one or two? Nobody knows. Thanks for helping me cut down the Willow Tree King. Luo Feng slightly smiled. It saved me a lot of trouble, boom. His entire body instantly turned into a blur as he charged towards the Willow Tree King. Kill! Catalan roared coldly. Luo Feng! Li Yao roared as he charged first with his blades in hand. Flames seemed to be burning in his eyes. Whoosh! 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 6 throwing knives. They were like 6 black bolts of lightning. At such a close distance, they were so fast that even Li Yao himself couldn't dodge them. But why did Li Yao dodge? The black color had already covered his entire body. Only his eyes and nostrils were slightly exposed. With his ability, there's no way someone could hit such a small gap. A Black God set. Even an Emperor-level monster would have a hard time piercing through a Black God set. The only way to kill a War God wearing a Black God set is through pure force. I can't pierce through your Black God set, but just the force of the attack is enough to shatter your organs. Rumble. The 6 throwing knives all landed on Li Yao's body. As of now, Luo Feng, who has reached the peak of the advanced level War God level, has an unbelievable amount of strength. Back then, when he used Dragon Blood and passed the fist strength tester, one of his throwing knives contained around 220,000 kilograms of force. And now, one of his throwing knives has a force of over 500,000 kilograms. The force of one throwing knife has a force of over 500,000 kilograms. 6 throwing knives. Altogether, it's a force of over 3 million kilograms. Even though a spirit reader's advantage is being unpredictable and hard to defend against. After reaching the peak of the advanced level War God level, just looking at the pure force of the attack has already reached an unbelievable level. This is the strength of a fighter at the peak of the War God level who has a force of 500,000 kilograms and can exert 6 times the normal force. Boom! Li Yao's feet left the ground, and he flew backwards at an astonishing speed. At the same time, he knocked in a Blood Shadow Ethan behind him. He even rolled a few times in midair and flew a few hundred meters away. Whoosh! 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 6 throwing knives that were as fast as lightning and as heavy as MT. Tai blasted Phantom Demon Catalan, who had a look of horror on his face, and sent him flying. Luo Feng directly landed next to the Willow Tree King's trunk, and the 6 throwing knives crazily bombarded the Willow Tree's trunk. With no life force left, the trunk's defense became much weaker, so it quickly exploded. A green light with hints of gold flew out. Luo Feng's spiritual force immediately wrapped around it and brought it in front of him. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Haha. Luo Feng is finally standing at the peak of the War God level. I'll write 3 more chapters tomorrow. The last 2 days of the double monthly votes. Brothers, vote for tomatoes, as many monthly votes as you have. Chapter 156. It was an oval crystal the size of a fist. There was a hint of green flowing within the crystal, mixed with a hint of gold. Just looking at it with the naked, I would cause one's heart to palpitate. 10,000-year willow heart. Luo Feng slightly smiled and swiftly put the 10,000-year willow heart into the pocket of his battle uniform. Li Yao, you can't escape. Luo Feng laughed loudly. Boom! The sound of an explosion suddenly rang out, and Luo Feng had already exploded with an unbelievable speed as he swiftly chased after Li Yao. As of now, Luo Feng's maximum speed has reached around 500 meters per second, and with the help of his spiritual force that has reached the peak of the war god level, Luo Feng's speed can even reach around 700 meters per second. In the distance, Li Yao, Catalan, Keita, and Ivan were all running at full speed. That Luo Feng has caught up. Catalan's face changed. Luo Feng. Li Yao's heart was filled with grief and anger. He never would have thought that Luo Feng, who he could squash like an ant back then, would grow to such an extent in an instant. Li Yao, who was flying, hurriedly said, Catalan, let's team up and get rid of this Luo Feng. Sorry. Catalan smiled faintly and signaled to Keita and Yvonne beside him with his eyes. The three of them had experienced God knows how many battles, so of course they understood each other's intentions. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Phantom Demon Catalan, Blood Shadow Yvonne, Great Bear Keita, these three powerhouses turned and dashed towards the left almost at the same time. They parted ways with Li Yao so quickly. It must be noted that their speed was more than 600 meters per second. At such a speed, when Li Yao came to his senses, the distance between them had already exceeded 500 to 600 meters. And Luo Feng had already caught up. Bastards, a bunch of idiots, cursed Li Yao in his heart, while Luo Feng's figure rapidly approached. This Luo Feng's speed is actually a bit faster than me. Li Yao grieved and gritted his teeth. Catalan and the other two, who had parted ways with Li Yao, began to slow down. That's good. Catalan heaved a sigh of relief. Then Luo Feng really went after Li Yao, and not us. Catalan looked behind him and said in English. He had tried to release his psychic power to a distance of 150 meters away, but he did not find anyone. Blood Shadow Ivan next to him sneered. That Li Yao is asking for trouble. The sound of the explosion in the distance was very clear in the silent night. Catalan, why aren't we helping Li Yao? Great Bear, Keita frowned. Help him? Why? Catalan sneered, and then his expression became serious. What's more, Keita, even if we wanted to help him, we wouldn't have the ability to. You have to know that Luo Feng is definitely a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level war god level, an invincible existence within the advanced level war god level. Great Bear Keita and Blood Shadow Ivan both looked at Catalan in shock. Ivan couldn't help but say, Catalan, even you aren't his match. My Phantom Strike, as long as a spirit reader adds his spirit power to push the javelin from the side, he would naturally be able to break this move. As for the demonic illusion, it was a mental attack. For Luo Feng, whose spiritual force is even stronger than mine, I can't hurt him at all. Instead, I'll hurt my own spiritual force. Catalan's face wasn't looking good. How about we join forces? Great Beer Keita said hurriedly. That's right. Let's fight together. Ivan's eyes were cold. For a spirit reader, numbers are useless. Catalan lightly shook his head. I've already confirmed that this Luo Feng is indeed a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level war god level. Don't mess with him in the future. Yes. Keita and Ivan nodded slightly. Let's hurry up and get more essence of nature. Then, we'll take the fighter jet and leave. Catalan said quietly. Remember, everyone, don't walk too fast and don't make too much noise. Otherwise, Luo Feng might hear us and chase after us. Keita and Ivan nodded solemnly. Catalan sighed inwardly. Another invincible god of war has appeared in the circle of gods of war. Invincible War God. It was a respectful title given to a certain special expert in the circle of War God. Catalan's status in the circle of War God was extremely high, much higher than Vulture Li Yao's. However, he hasn't received the title of Invincible War God yet. Even though Vulture Li Yao and the others have Black God sets, they only have powerful defense. If your attack isn't strong enough, you don't have the right to be called an invincible war god. Rumble, Li Yao, who was running at his maximum speed, created a shockwave that shattered some vegetation. Run. There is only one word in Li Yao's mind right now, run. Ever since Luo Feng's 6 throwing knives landed on his body, Li Yao was very clear on the difference between him and Luo Feng. Even Phantom Demon Catalan was forced to flee by Luo Feng. What can Li Yao do if he doesn't run? Li Yao. Luo Feng's body was like a phantom, and his eyes were like lightning. Kill. Suddenly, 6 flowing black lights flew out of Luo Feng's body. Their speed was who knows how many times faster than Luo Feng and Li Yao's running speed. These 6 flowing black lights instantly crossed the distance of less than 50 meters. After that, Li Yao didn't even have time to dodge before they landed on Li Yao's body. Every flying dagger was like a small mountain smashing over. Every flying dagger had an astonishing penetrative power. Li Yao's black skin slightly caved in, but he wasn't pierced by the throwing knives at all. However, the terrifying force of impact contained within the 6 throwing knives was not to be underestimated. Rumble. Li Yao's entire body was once again sent flying. He actually used the force of the attack to increase the distance between him and Luo Feng. What's going on? As the distance between them increased again, Luo Feng's face changed, including the time I attacked him before. This is already the 3rd time. 3 consecutive attacks. How is this Li Yao still not dead? Why isn't he heavily injured? These were 6 throwing knives, and the force of impact contained within each throwing knife was over 500,000 kilograms. 6 throwing knives meant that the force of impact exceeded 3 million kilograms. He was smashed 3 times under this terrifying force. Even the strongest war god would be smashed into meat paste if he used his body to take 3 hits. However, Vulture Li Yao was still running at full speed without slowing down at all. Could it be? Could it be because of the Black God set? Is the Black God set that amazing? Luo Feng frowned. Good thing I have the Black God set, or else I would have died a long time ago. Li Yao, who was running as fast as he could, had a trace of blood on the corner of his mouth. However, his powerful body was swiftly recovering. Every time Luo Feng attacked him, Li Yao only needed a moment to recover half of the damage. So until now, Li Yao only spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. The defensive power of the Black God set is indeed incredible. It said that even Emperor-level monsters can't tear through it and can only be killed by the endless force of impact, thought Li Yao to himself. The Black God set is extremely mysterious. Its material is extremely tough. Its main advantage is its toughness. No matter how sharp something is, it can't be pierced through. And not only that, the force of any attack will be weakened by 90% when it passes through the Black God set. In other words, after the 3 million kilograms of impact passes through the skin of the Black God set, only 300,000 kilograms will be left on Li Yao's body. And this 300,000 kilograms is spread across Li Yao's entire body. If the 300,000 kilograms of impact is used on one part of the body, it'll deal quite a bit of damage to an advanced level war god. However, once it's spread across his entire body, Li Yao doesn't care. There's a saying, besides existences surpassing the war god level, emperor-level monsters and laser cannons, there's no other way to kill a war god wearing the Black God set. This is a compliment to the miraculous effects of the Black God set. Of course, there are some exaggerations. For example, last time when Li Yao was trapped at the bottom of the lake and couldn't breathe, he still suffocated to death after a while. But in conclusion, the defensive power of the Black God set is indeed incredible. The 6 black lights once again bombarded Li Yao's body. This time, Li Yao didn't use the force of impact to run in a straight line. Instead, he abruptly made a turn, and Luo Feng, who has been chasing for a long time, was already used to it. He thought that Li Yao would continue to run in a straight line, so he immediately charged far away. By the time he came back, the distance between the two of them has long exceeded the range of his spiritual force. Luo Feng angrily snorted. But Luo Feng was clear that after 6 attacks, Liao still wasn't dead. This black god set is indeed miraculous. Even though I can trample this Liao, killing him will be very difficult, thought Luo Feng to himself. I'll make a net later, a net made from SS-grade material. I'll use my spiritual force to control the net and directly trap this Liao. I can't kill him. I'll just trap him. If I don't give him anything to drink, he'll starve to death. I can even directly put him into the water. After a while, he'll suffocate to death, thought Luo Feng to himself. There's no other way. He can only rely on this simple method. First trap him, then starve to death or suffocate to death. As for killing a war god wearing a black god set head-on, unless the war god takes it off, Luo Feng can't do it. This Liao is quite sly, not making a single sound at all. Luo Feng listened carefully and tried to find some clues from the sound. Whoosh! Luo Feng leapt up and stepped on his shield. In an instant, he flew 100 to 200 meters into the air. As he looked down from midair, his spiritual force spread out to search while listening carefully. Boom! A very weak sound carried from afar. There's a sound over there. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. With a thought, he immediately flew over on his shield. He turned into an arc as he descended. At this time, Phantom Demon Catalan, Great Bear Kata, and Blood Shadow Ethan were surrounding 2 golden weeds and swiftly digging the soil on the ground. Hey, what are you guys doing? A voice rang. Phantom Demon Catalan and the other 2's expressions changed as they turned their heads. Luo Feng, who was standing on his shield, was slowly descending as he smiled at Catalan and the others. Phantom Demon Catalan and the other 2 cursed in their hearts. Wasn't this Luo Feng chasing after Liao? Even if they made some noise, it shouldn't attract Luo Feng's attention. They didn't want to make any noise. But how could they not make any noise when fighting against the spirit of nature? Go! Catalan howled. The 3 immediately sprinted. Liao is a black god set, so I can't do anything to him. 2 of you also have a black god set, but one of you doesn't. Luo Feng's gaze locked onto the brute, Great Bear Kata, and a smile appeared on his face. Whoosh! He directly chased after Great Bear Kata. P.S. Chapter 1. Today's 3 chapters, calling for monthly votes. Chapter 157. This is the 2nd chapter of today. Luo Feng. This barbaric brute, Kata, stopped and yelled in awkward Chinese. Whoosh! Luo Feng was also shocked and immediately stopped. He stood beside him and looked at this extremely famous Great Bear Kata with interest. You're not running? Great Bear Kata laughed helplessly and said with awkward Chinese, Luo Feng, my strength isn't as good as yours. I concede. I am willing to give you all of the spirits of nature that I obtained. Hee. Luo Feng laughed with surprise. This Great Bear Kata is interesting. Great Bear Kata laughed bitterly in his heart. When he talked with Phantom Demon Catalan before, he already knew that this Luo Feng is already a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level and can be called an invincible war god. A powerful fighter at this level is a figure that can shake any region on Earth with just one sentence. Kill him, Kata. 6 throwing knives can definitely turn Great Bear Kata into mush. Kata, doesn't have a black god set. Very well, I know that you have 2 spirits of nature in your bag. Hand them over, smiled Luo Feng. I won't kill you, all right. Great Bear Kata wasn't surprised that Luo Feng knew how many spirits of nature he had. With a sweep of his spiritual force, how could Luo Feng not know what treasures Great Bear Kata has on him? Put them away. Great Bear Kata took out 2,000-year willow hearts and threw them towards Luo Feng. Very good. Luo Feng smiled as he used his spiritual force to sweep these 2,000-year willow hearts and the 10,000-year willow heart from before into his inner pocket of his battle uniform. Great Bear Kata slightly smiled. Then I'll be leaving first. When you go to Europe, you can find me if you need anything. Next time we're in the Virtual Spaces Palace of War Gods. We need to have a good drink after saying that. Great Bear Kata swiftly left. Quite passionate, huh? Luo Feng laughed. Virtual Spaces Palace of War Gods. Luo Feng was very clear. that anyone who obtained the title of war god joined the Palace of War Gods. And this Palace of War Gods was created by powerful fighters like Hong and Thunder God. From what he heard, the Palace of War Gods is in the virtual space. Kato wisely handed over the 2,000-year Willow Hearts. Luo Feng's mood was pretty good. Above Fog Isle, Luo Feng stood on a shield 200 meters in the air and looked down at the entire Misty Island. At the same time, his spiritual force spread out to search, wanting to find Liao. This Liao sure is careful in hiding. If he doesn't make a sound, my spiritual force can't find him either. Luo Feng frowned in midair, feeling helpless. Suddenly, Luo Feng turned to look. In the distance, a fiery red stream of light quickly flew over from the horizon like a meteor. In the dark night, this fiery red stream of light was very conspicuous. Whoosh! The red light stopped in front of Luo Feng. It was actually a white man with brown curly hair wearing a battle uniform. This white man floated in mid-air. The space around him seemed to be warping. The surface of his body rippled with flames. The man within the flames looked at Luo Feng. Speaking in English, "Who are you?" Luo Feng was shocked within. Flames on the surface of his body. Flying in the air? This is definitely an existence surpassing the war god level. I am Luo Feng, from the Dojo of Limits. Luo Feng stood on a shield and slightly bowed in midair to show his respect. Luo Feng, the man within the flames, slightly nodded and then fiercely roared, "Catalan, all four of you come out." His deep voice swiftly spread across the entire Misty Island. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The entire Misty Island was filled with explosions. Soon enough, Luo Feng's spiritual force discovered that 4 people were gathered below: Phantom Demon Catalan, Vulture Li Yao, Blood Shadow Ethan, and Great Bear Kata. Representative Far. The 4 people below all bowed respectfully. Phantom Demon Catalan and the others looked at the powerful fighter who was bathed in flames in the night sky, and were all shocked. Ever since Luo Feng stole the 1,000-year Willow Heart, Phantom Demon Catalan immediately notified his master. His master contacted several existences surpassing the war god level. But who would have thought he had actually arrived so quickly? I was training in the continent of Australia. After your master notified me, I rushed over immediately. Representative Far, who was bathed in flames, smiled as he said, "How are you guys doing with the spirit of nature?" Representative Far, Liao yelled loudly on the side in English. The most precious 10,000-year Willow Heart we found was stolen by this Luo Feng. He also stole the other 3,000-year Willow Hearts. In the night, Luo Feng's face slightly changed as he hovered in midair on his shield. Luo Feng. Representative Far looked towards Luo Feng, and his gaze became cold. "Hand over the 10,000-year Willow Heart and the 3,000-year Willow Hearts." Whoosh. Luo Feng turned around and ran. Trying to run? Representative Far instantly turned into a fiery red light and chased after him. Even though Representative Far is an existence surpassing the war god level. However, all of the powerful war gods and existences surpassing the war god level on Earth are members of the Palace of War Gods. The Palace of War Gods has its own rules. Existences surpassing the war god level are forbidden from killing war gods without sufficient reason. And Luo Feng comes from the Dojo of Limits. In this world, existences surpassing the war god level don't dare to mess with the Dojo of Limits. Even though they won't kill him, Representative Far definitely has to get the 10,000-year Willow Heart. Representative Far, who turned into flames, changed his expression and increased his speed by a large amount. However, the distance between him and Luo Feng didn't shrink at all. Instead, it grew further and further. So it was like this. Luo Feng, who was flying rapidly on his shield, couldn't help but to let out a smile as he looked back. This Representative Far's flying speed sure isn't as fast as mine. When he flew over before, I felt that his flying speed was half of my maximum flying speed. Now that I look at it, even when he explodes, he's much slower than me. Boom! Representative Far, who was surrounded by flames, quickly landed on the misty island. Li Yao and the others on the side were secretly shocked. Looks like Representative Far didn't catch up to Luo Feng. Hurry, let's split up and quickly harvest the spirits of nature. If you guys can't handle it, immediately notify me, yelled Representative Far. Yes, Catalan and the others immediately rushed into the depths of the misty island. As they ran, Liao couldn't help but to ask, Catalan, how come Representative Far can't catch up to Luo Feng? Existences surpassing the war god level are indeed much stronger than war gods, said Catalan quietly. However, in midair, there's nowhere for them to borrow strength from. If they run on the ground, their speed will be frighteningly fast. As for flying, existences surpassing the war god level can fly, but their flying speed is much slower than on the ground. Li Yao, Kada, and Ethan all understood. Actually, when Luo Feng stole the 1,000-year willow heart for the first time, Catalan said that even existences surpassing the war god level wouldn't dare to say such a thing to hunt down an advanced level war god level spirit reader underground. Indeed, existences surpassing the war god level are extremely powerful. However, they aren't unreasonably powerful. If they run on the ground, they can instantly catch up to Luo Feng. As for the sky, his powerful legs can't unleash their explosive power, so he can only rely on his special ability to fly. Even though that type of flying is faster than most spirit readers, it's still lacking compared to a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level war god level. Luo Feng returned and hovered 300 to 400 meters above the misty island. His spiritual force spread out. Boom! The air suddenly shook, and a magenta flowing light stopped above Luo Feng in the blink of an eye. It was indeed a magenta, triangular fighter jet. In terms of appearance, this streamlined triangular fighter jet is almost exactly the same as the one Hong rode on last time. The only difference is the color. Voila! The hatch automatically opened. 2 shadows flew out. The fighter jet automatically closed its hatch and hovered in midair. My dojo of limits fighter jet. Luo Feng let out a face of joy. You're Luo Feng? 2 shadows hovered beside Luo Feng. One of them had long, flowing hair and always had a smile on his face. The feeling he gave off was like a gentle breeze that calmed one's heart. As for the man hovering beside him, he was as cold as a mountain and wore a golden mask on his face. Greetings to the 2 investigators, Luo Feng bowed. How's the situation down there? Asked Investigator Lu on the side. Luo Feng followed. Investigator, that's an existence surpassing the war god level of the HR Alliance. Representative Far. He just arrived a few minutes ago. As for the Willow Hearts, there are a total of 9,000-year Willow Hearts and 1 10,000-year Willow Heart. 6 of the 1,000-year Willow Hearts were taken by them. I used 1,000-year Willow Heart before and took 2,000-year Willow Hearts and 1 10,000-year Willow Heart. Investigator Lu let out a smile and slightly nodded. 10,000-year Willow Heart? Not bad. Boom! At this time, a fiery red flowing light flew up from below. It was Representative Far. Representative Lu. Far looked at Investigator Lu and then at the golden masked man beside him. He let out a shocked expression. Representative Far, all of the spirits of nature on this misty island belong to my dojo of limits. You don't have any objections, right? Said Investigator Lu calmly. The flames on Far's body fiercely rose, and he said angrily, Representative Lu, don't go too far. We discovered this misty island first. You guys didn't discover it first. I discovered it first, interrupted Luo Feng. You can have Catalan and Li Yao come and verify it. Indeed, Luo Feng was the first to arrive at this misty island. He purposely turned on his tactical communications watch to lure Li Yao over. If Li Yao didn't come, Luo Feng wouldn't have recognized those treasures. Haha, did you hear that? Smiled Investigator Lu. Our people discover it first, humph, Representative Far sneered. This misty island has no owner, so why should it belong to your dojo of limits? If you have the ability, then we can fight for it fairly. Whoever gets the spirit of nature first gets it. After hearing this, Investigator Liu smiled as he looked at Representative Farr. After thinking for a bit, he nodded. I agree, Representative. Farr froze. Luo Feng was also shocked. Keep in mind that the entire Misty Island is covered in mist, so it's impossible to see clearly. And sometimes, you can't even recognize the spirit of nature right in front of you. Whoever gets it the most gets it. How could this Investigator Liu agree to this condition? It's up to you. Investigator Liu looked towards the golden masked man beside him. P.S. Chapter 2 is here. Continue writing Chapter 3. I've fallen behind by quite a bit. Chapter 158. Today is the third chapter. Okay, the golden masked man slightly nodded. Who? He swiftly flew into the distance and hovered in the air above the Misty Island. After that, the mysterious golden masked man actually opened his hands and closed his eyes. A formless, special energy spread out in all directions with him as the center. It was like a radar emitting all sorts of waves. Around 5 or 6 seconds passed. Whoosh! Like a bolt of lightning, the mysterious golden masked man directly flew into the Misty Island. This scene caused Luo Feng and Representative Farr, who were hovering in midair, to be secretly shocked. Logically speaking, it's extremely difficult to find spirits of nature in this thick fog. If spirits of nature don't attack, they usually won't be able to recognize them, even if they're right in front of you. So they don't have much of an advantage in finding spirits of nature, existences surpassing the war god level. But why? Investigator Liu was full of confidence. Why did he let the mysterious golden masked man attack? Representative Farr, just stay here with me. This way, you can relax, and I can relax too. Investigator Liu glanced at him. Representative Farr only sneered and continued to hover in midair. Representative Farr doesn't have any special method to find spirits of nature, so he might as well keep Investigator Liu occupied. Suddenly, 4 silhouettes swiftly rushed downwards, and 1 silhouette even rushed toward the sky. Luo Feng looked carefully. The one that flew up was indeed Phantom Demon Catalan. The black light on Catalan's feet extended into the shape of a plank. As he stepped on the black plank, Phantom Demon Catalan directly hovered in midair. Representative Farr, Catalan said furiously, we were just digging for an unknown spirit of nature, but at the crucial moment, someone stole it. The enemy was too fast and too powerful. He should be an existence surpassing the war god level. The 4 of us couldn't even fight back. Representative Farr's face changed as he heard this. And the spirit of nature that Li Yao discovered earlier was already gone by the time we got there. It was taken away by someone else, yelled Catalan again. Ha! Investigator Liu laughed loudly as he heard this. Representative Farr's face turned green as he heard this. Luo Feng, on the other hand, was extremely shocked. Damn, that mysterious golden masked man actually has such an ability to easily find spirits of nature in the endless fog. Logically speaking, if a vegetation spirit didn't take the initiative to attack, it would be very difficult to distinguish whether it was a vegetation spirit or not. Representative Liu, may I know which of the 3 great guards is that? Iceberg? Senator Farr's face was ashen. I didn't expect one of the dojo master's 3 guards to have such a special ability. You're very smart. It is indeed an iceberg. Investigator Liu laughed lightly. But is it worth making a fuss about? After breaking through the war god level and becoming an existence surpassing the war god level, everyone had different abilities because of their different cultivation. Your ability is fire, but Iceberg of the 3 great guards has abilities that you can't even imagine. Dojo of Limits Hong, one of the 5 investigators. But in reality, other than the 5 inspectors, only a few people knew that Hong had 3 personal guards under him. These 3 personal guards have been loyal to Hong for a long time. It could be said that they were absolutely loyal. Hong also taught these 3 royal guards with all his heart and helped these 3 royal guards. These 3 royal guard were all existences surpassing the war god level. Everyone said that the 5 inspectors were terrifying, but many powerful fighters were even more afraid of these 3 royal guards. Other than Hong, no one knows who they really are. They only know that the three Royal Guard's code names are Beast, Iceberg, and Alluring. Royal Guard? Luo Feng was shocked. Not an investigator? Young man. Investigator Lu laughed as he looked at Luo Feng. The head's power isn't as simple as you think. The three Royal Guards under the head are all existences surpassing the War God level. And every single Royal Guard under the head's nurturing has extremely shocking strength. Otherwise, why would all the countries and organizations in this world be so afraid of the head? Luo Feng was speechless. One person nurtured three existences surpassing the War God level. Holy! Rumble who? It was pitch black below. The island that was shrouded in fog would occasionally have the sound of explosions and plants being hit. Clearly, these sounds were made by that Royal Guard. In midair, suddenly, a soft wind formed a round barrier and covered Luo Feng and Investigator Lu. Investigator? Luo Feng looked towards Investigator Lu with shock. Just a little trick. I didn't want Far to hear it, smiled Investigator Lu. Let me introduce myself. My name is Lu Ha. The head's evaluation of you is extremely high. He said that you're one of the top spirit reader geniuses in the entire world. You used 1,000-year willow heart this time. What level has your spiritual force reached? Luo Feng slightly hesitated. Peak of the advanced level War God level spirit reader, said Luo Feng. Investigator Lu took in a deep breath and looked at Luo Feng in disbelief. He couldn't help but to ask, "How old are you this year?" 19 years old, answered Luo Feng. 19 years old, peak of the advanced level War God level spirit reader? Investigator Lu couldn't help but to shake his head and laugh. I've always heard about the legendary geniuses and how powerful they are. During the Grand Nirvana period, the head and Chairman Thunder God both became existences surpassing the War God level in just a few years. I've seen a few reach the peak of the advanced level War God level in just 2 to 3 years, but this is the first time I've seen a 19-year-old spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level War God level. Investigator Lu's gaze towards Luo Feng became a lot gentler. Why is the dojo of limits powerful? It's unity. They work hard to raise geniuses and make the dojo even stronger. They don't have to worry about the younger generation suppressing the younger generation. Luo Feng's entire journey was all because of instructor Jiang Yan, chief instructor Wu Tong, special envoy Yang Hui, teacher Jiang Feng, and so on. That's why he was able to grow so smoothly. Your own talent is important, but so is your environment. Very good. Investigator Lu smiled as he nodded. With your strength, you can already be called an invincible war god. A spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level war god level. He, indeed, is hard to deal with. His flying speed seems to be very fast, and he's also very unpredictable when he burrows into the ground, making it hard for people to catch up. Luo Feng couldn't help but to recall the scene from before. Representative Far wasn't able to catch up to him in midair. However, don't get careless in the future. You're invincible within the war god level, but if you meet an existence surpassing the war god level, that might not be the case. Existences surpassing the war god level all have different abilities, smiled Representative Lu. Different people have different advantages. Representative Lu smiled lightly. Different people have different advantages. For example, my flying speed is much faster than Far, Luo Feng nodded. Just like that mysterious golden masked man, who is one of Hong's 3 royal guards, Ice Mountain, he was able to easily find large amounts of spirits of nature. Investigator Lu carefully reminded Luo Feng not to be too proud. There are many existences surpassing the war god level that can deal with Luo Feng. Let me see the 10,000-year willow heart, said Investigator Lu. Investigator Luo Feng took out the 10,000-year willow heart from his pocket. Investigator Lu took it and looked at it. The green and golden strands that rippled within the oval crystal made Investigator Lu squint his eyes. He nodded. This 10,000-year willow heart is definitely not normal. I have a feeling that one 10,000-year willow heart is even more important than 10,000-year willow hearts. Luo Feng let out a smile as he heard this. Isn't that right? Who knows how much easier it is to chop down 9 willow trees than to chop down 1 willow tree king? Of course, the 10,000-year willow heart of the willow tree king isn't simple. However, you can't casually use a treasure like this. You need to let the head take a look to determine how to use it, said Investigator Lou seriously. If you don't use the treasure properly, you can easily die. Inspector Lou said solemnly, if treasures are not used properly, it is very easy to die. Back then, there was someone who consumed a certain type of treasure and his body directly exploded. Luo Feng nodded. You can still die from eating, but this 10,000-year willow heart is much more valuable than the 1,000-year willow heart. Without 100% confidence, Luo Feng wouldn't stupidly eat it. Anyway, Luo Feng, you did a great job this time, said Investigator Lou. Once you find a misty island and report it, you'll receive 10% of the reward. You'll also receive the 10,000-year willow heart from digging up treasures, which counts as a great job. When the time comes, we'll give you a bit more now that you're a spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level war god level. The dojo will probably arrange things for you. You don't have to stay in this elite training camp anymore, smiled Investigator Lou. How could a head not use a talent like you? Who knows? There might even be a large reward. The head isn't a stingy person, Investigator. Luo Feng was a bit nervous. Investigator Lou looked at Luo Feng. Speak. I'm just asking the investigator. I wonder if the head can reward me with a black god set, asked Luo Feng. Investigator Lou froze. This kid sure isn't humble at all. After the Battle of the Misty Island, Luo Feng really wants a black god set. The effects of this black god set are way too good, much better than an SS grade battle uniform. Actually, Luo Feng hasn't received the title of war god yet, so legally speaking, he isn't a war god. Logically speaking, Luo Feng can continue to stay in the elite training camp and obtain first place again and again. Wouldn't he receive a huge reward like that? Wouldn't he receive a black god set? Originally, I had a chance of getting it if I stayed in the training camp, joked Luo Feng. You kid, you're already invincible among war gods, yet you still want to fight with those kids? Investigator Lou didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I really can't decide on the black god set. I'll see what the head says later. The patrol inspector rarely interacted with the students. Investigator Lou took the initiative to tell Luo Feng his name and even passionately chatted with him. He already had the intention of becoming friends. But who would have thought that Luo Feng, an invincible war god, an absolute leader of a region, was acting like a child? Oh, indeed, Luo Feng is only 19 years old, so he is indeed a kid. Hong. In the dark night, the entire Misty Island suddenly started shaking, which shocked Luo Feng, Investigator Lou, and Representative Farr, who were in midair. Hurry up and leave. A stern voice rang out. The golden-masked man fled in a sorry state. Whoosh! In the distance, a dark purple vine with a diameter of 20 centimeters shot through the air. The length of the vine was so long that it was impossible to see its end. Under the illumination of Senator Farr's flames, the naked eye could see that it was at least 500 to 600 meters long, with an unknown length hidden in the fog. It was like a long vine of heaven and earth. This vine was like a tentacle that stretched out for hundreds of meters. It was still rapidly extending towards the golden-masked man. The golden-masked man's bag was completely bulging. Clearly, it contained a large amount of wood spirits. P.S. 3 chapters completed. Monthly votes. Chapter 159. 3 chapters have been updated for today. Brothers and sisters of the Red Alliance, the last day of double monthly votes. If you have monthly votes, please support us. Tomato, thank you. Chapter 160. This long vine. Luo Feng jumped in shock as he watched. The black and violet vine that extended from the distant mist seemed endless. One couldn't see the end of it with a glance. At first glance, it looked like a coiling python that was coiling towards the frantically escaping golden-masked man. Pu. The golden-masked man held a long blade that was as thin as a cicada's wing in each hand. It was like a transparent blade of ice as it fiercely slashed towards the black and violet vine. Instantly, a shockwave that could be seen with the naked eye fiercely spread in all directions. The towering trees below were all shattered by the shockwave. Even Vulture Liao, Blood Shadow Ethan, and Great Bear Kato were all desperately escaping. If they accidentally get caught in the shockwave, they'll probably be done for. What? Luo Feng was shocked. The black and violet vine that had a diameter of 20 centimeters was slashed by the two blades of ice and barely managed to leave a wound that was around 1 centimeter long. However, this wound healed in the blink of an eye. Let's go. Investigator Lu grabbed Luo Feng. Luo Feng didn't resist and immediately flew towards the distance with Investigator Lu. As for the black and violet vine, it chased after the golden masked man and didn't waste any time chasing after Luo Feng and the others. Get on the fighter jet, yelled Investigator Lu. Whoosh! The magenta triangular fighter jet that was floating in the distance actually directly flew over and opened its hatch. Whoosh! Whoosh! Investigator Lu and Luo Feng were like two flowing lights as they directly flew into the triangular fighter jet. The triangular fighter jet was completely dark. Luo Feng and Investigator Lu looked outside through the hatch. The fighter jet, on the other hand, was swiftly flying towards the distance and pulling away from the black and violet vine. Voila! The hatch closed. Show me the scene of Ice Mountain's battle, ordered Investigator Lu. Chi! Within the gloomy cabin, a video immediately appeared out of nowhere. It was the scene of the battle that was currently happening above the Misty Island. The clarity was much better than what the naked eye could see. In the video, only the golden masked man was in the air above the Misty Island, and he was being attacked by the vine. The golden masked man's speed was as fast as lightning as he swiftly escaped. Pa! An earth-shaking sound rang out. The long vine actually lashed out in the air like a whip. The 1,000-meter-long dark purple vine lashed out fiercely in the air. As it lashed out and retracted, it produced an incredible explosive sound. Even after passing through the cabin door, Luo Feng could still feel his ears ringing. Such a long vine can actually hit people like a whip? Investigator Lu couldn't help but sigh. If Bing Shan was hit, he would be finished. Investigator Lu, are we just going to watch? Asked Luo Feng. They were all people from the Dojo of Limits. How could they just watch as their own people were attacked? Luo Feng, that Ice Mountain Royal Guard's power is even stronger than mine. His life preservation abilities are even more powerful. He was the Dojo Master's personal guard, and the Dojo Master had imparted many life-saving abilities to them. I'll only be a hindrance if I go. Inspector Lu was not anxious at all. Don't worry, this long vine is still not good. Inspector Lu's expression changed drastically. Luo Feng also looked at the video and took in a deep breath. Rumble. In the video, the entire Misty Island started to shake. At the same time, another endless dark purple vine swiftly extended out of the mist. This time, there were two dark purple vines. No, the entire Misty Island was shaking, and a third dark purple vine that seemed to stretch across the sky extended out. The fourth vine, the fifth vine, each vine was so long that the naked eye couldn't see the end of it. It was definitely over 1,000 meters long, and each vine was dark purple with a diameter of 20 centimeters. They were also incomparably tough, even existences surpassing the war god level. Can't do anything to them. We're in big trouble. Investigator Lu's face was green. In the sky above the Misty Island, the vines that pierced through the sky were like the tentacles of the entire Misty Island. They crazily waved around and attacked the Golden Masked Man from all directions, even though the Golden Masked Man's speed is already shockingly fast. With a shake, he can travel a few hundred meters. Logically speaking, he should be able to easily get rid of the vines. However, the vines themselves are too strange. They can twist and twist as they please. They're so fast that they turned into phantoms, not allowing the Golden Masked Man to escape. At this moment, in the video, a total of 6 vines crazily waved in the sky above the Misty Island. The golden masked man dodged each danger with difficulty. According to the computer's data, these 6 vines are over 1,600 meters long. They can instantly extend, contract, and move at a speed exceeding 1,000 meters per second. Investigator Lu's face was terrible. Their toughness is about the same as an Emperor-level monster. However, their recovery speed is too terrifying. Their wounds can instantly heal. Luo Feng also silently watched. In the video, the 6 vines cooperated perfectly. With each attack, they naturally forced the golden masked man's space to dodge to become smaller and smaller. Boom! What? Luo Feng and Investigator Lu were both shocked. Under the encirclement of the 6 dark purple vines, the incomparably tiny golden masked man instantly turned into a white flowing light. His speed was so fast that he practically instantly escaped the encirclement of the 6 vines. This white flowing light was flying toward the triangular fighter with an unbelievable speed. Voila! The hatch opened. The white flowing light's speed decreased and turned into a human figure. It directly crashed into the cockpit, and the hatch immediately closed. "Return to headquarters," yelled Investigator Lu. Whoosh! The purplish-red triangular fighter immediately turned into a purplish-red flowing light and disappeared into the horizon. Only the sky above the misty island was left with the dark purple vines crazily waving around, as if they were extremely angry. In the cockpit, "Ice Mountain, how are you?" Investigator Lu helped the golden masked man up. The golden masked man laid on the chair with his eyes closed. His breathing was weak as he said quietly, "Don't worry, Luha, I won't die yet. It's just that using the origin technique takes too much damage to my body. I'll need to rest for a while when I get back." Investigator Lu let out a sigh of relief. "Ice Mountain, what's the forbidden technique? Can you teach me?" Investigator Lu couldn't help but to ask. It's not that he doesn't know the rules, but the speed that Royal Guard Ice Mountain displayed when he escaped was simply too shocking, even though he won't be able to fight back after using it. This technique is definitely a life-saving technique. I contributed a lot of the wealth and treasures I've accumulated over the past 5 years to the Dojo Master. That's why the Dojo Master spent a lot of time to create this life-saving ultimate move based on the characteristics of my origin energy. Bing Shan glanced at Investigator Lu. "Your origin ability is different from mine. You can't learn it." Inspector Lu shook his head helplessly. He also knew if the Dojo Master was given sufficient wealth and treasures, the Dojo Master would help design ultimate moves for his subordinates. It was just that this kind of thing also consumed a lot of energy for Hong, so his request was very shocking. "I spent a lot of money on this Chin-level auto jet." Investigator Lu couldn't help but shake his head. "Auto jet?" Luo Feng couldn't help but to say, "This fighter jet doesn't need a pilot and can move according to a person's will." It was too advanced. He had never seen a fighter jet like this before. And before, Luo Feng had completely felt this fighter jet's AI. Yes, this is a Chin-level auto jet. Just the cost of materials alone is astronomical. Investigator Lu couldn't help but feel proud of himself. At the crucial moment, I can control it to block the attack of a king-class monster. Even if it's a king-class monster, it can't even think about destroying this fighter jet. Its entire body is made of much better materials than SS-grade weapons. Luo Feng was stunned. Isn't this too exaggerated? The material of the fighter jet is even better than SS-class weapons? Luo Feng finally experienced how luxurious an existence surpassing the war god level is. But that vine just now was a binding attack. My auto jet couldn't do anything about it. Investigator Lu shook his head and then smiled as he looked at Luo Feng. "Luo Feng, with your contribution to the Misty Island, you'll definitely receive a huge reward. It's definitely enough to buy a universe-level auto jet. Perhaps he would be able to purchase the highest-grade, primeval auto warship. Do you know about the prehistoric-level auto jet? It's the one that the Dojo Master is riding in. Its defense is incredible, and it's even equipped with an airborne laser cannon." Luo Feng remained silent. Had he become a fool? His reward this time was clearly huge. A 1,000-year willow heart is already more valuable than a portion of dragon blood, let alone a 10,000-year willow heart. Plus, Royal Guard Ice Mountain received a huge backpack of spirits of nature. His own quota is definitely an incredible amount of wealth. Why would he waste it to buy a fighter jet? Ice Mountain, how's the reward this time? Investigator Lou couldn't help but to ask. Royal Guard Ice Mountain, who seemed to be a bit better, opened his eyes and looked at him indifferently. Huge, extremely huge. Investigator Lou couldn't help but to say, I should have done something this time, right? Oomph. You only managed to hold back Representative Farr, Royal Guard Ice Mountain said indifferently. The mission of extracting spirits of nature can give you 30% of the total reward. Let me put it nicely, you can barely get 5%. Luo Feng contributed the 10,000-year willow heart and 2,000-year willow hearts, so he can barely get 5%. I'll get 20%. Investigator Lou was speechless, since he indeed didn't do anything. 10,000-year willow heart and 2,000-year willow hearts, only 5%. Investigator Lou couldn't help but to say, what do you know? Royal Guard Ice Mountain laughed indifferently. Just from the ones I personally harvested, there are already 92 spirits of nature. More than 6 of them are better than the 10,000-year willow heart. Luo Feng and Investigator Lou both took in a deep breath. This amount of wealth is ridiculous. This misty island is truly a treasure island, giving birth to so many spirits of nature in an instant. The most valuable thing is still that long vine. Royal Guard Ice Mountain lowered his voice. I originally sensed the energy of the long vine and attacked, but I didn't think that it was only a small part of the long vine. The entire long vine is over 2,000 meters long, and I think that this long vine is just a part of some spirit of nature. In the end, there were a total of 6 vines chasing after me, so there's an incredible spirit of nature on the entire Misty Island, Royal Guard Ice Mountain said indifferently. That's the biggest treasure. Bing Shan said calmly, that is the greatest wealth. When I was escaping just now, I sent the battle scene to the dojo master. The dojo master should personally take care of this matter. The head will personally take care of this? Investigator Lou and Luo Feng both nodded to themselves. Indeed, if the 6 black vines are just a part of that spirit of nature, then the strongest spirit of nature on this misty island isn't easy to deal with. P.S. Chapter 1 here. Last 2.5 hours. Last 2.5 hours for the double monthly vote event. Brothers, hurry up and cast your monthly votes. 1 counts as 2. You're about to miss your chance. I hope everyone supports me. Thanks. Chapter 161. On the wasteland beside the lake that was shrouded in mist. Vulture Liao, Phantom Demon Catalan, Great Bear Kada, and Blood Shadow Ethan. The 4 of them looked towards the misty island with lingering fear. Representative Farr, who was floating in midair, also looked towards the sky above the misty island in the distance. The 6 violet-black vines that pierced through the sky were crazily waving about. What exactly is this? How can it be so powerful? It's too scary. Even existences surpassing the war god level can't beat it. Vulture Liao and the others discussed quietly as they were shocked and scared. If Representative Farr didn't bring them to escape, along with the fact that the violet-black vines only cared about killing that Ice Mountain Royal Guard, the 4 of them probably wouldn't have been able to escape. Whoosh! Representative Farr landed. Thank you, Representative Farr. Liao went up to thank him. The other 3 also went to thank him. Representative Farr looked towards the 4 of them and ordered with a cold voice, give me the spirits of nature that you dug out. Catalan, Liao, and the others froze. Hand over the spirits of nature? Catalan and the others worked hard to obtain these spirits of nature. However, they were worried that Luo Feng would ask someone from the Dojo of Limits to help, so they immediately asked an existence surpassing the war god level. Once they ask someone else to help, these spirits of nature will naturally become a group. Just like how Luo Feng handed over the 10,000-year willow heart and the 1,000-year willow heart. However, unlike Luo Feng, that Royal Guard Ice Mountain pretty much gathered all the spirits of nature on the Misty Island, and Representative Farr and the others didn't even get a single one. Catalan and the others will be at a disadvantage if they do this. Representative Farr frowned. Hand it over, Catalan ordered. Even though he wasn't willing, Li Yao and the others could only hand over the spirits of nature they obtained. 6,000-year willow hearts and 2 spear herbs. Don't worry, I'll distribute the spirits of nature according to your contributions, Representative Farr said coldly. The fighter jet you guys came on is over there. Senator Farr said coldly. The fighter you took when you came is over there. Are you going back to Europe now? Or are you waiting here for the other senators? This time, Catalan had invited quite a number of senators through his teacher. Existences surpassing the war god level are representatives of the palace of war gods. We're not in a rush, laughed Catalan. Yes, there's no hurry. How could he miss the chance to watch a few existences surpassing the war god level fight against the spirits of nature? After a long time, finally, a ray of light appeared in the sky. It flew over quickly and floated not far away from Senator Farr. It was a completely black disc-shaped battleship. The hatch was now open. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 3 silhouettes flew out one after another. 2 of them were Caucasians, while the last one had slightly darker skin, similar to a South American. The 3 of them smiled as they flew towards Representative Farr. These 4 people were existences surpassing the war god level. Teacher, Catalan immediately flew over. Look behind you. Behind you. On the ground, Li Yao, Keita, and Yvonne were greatly shocked. They hurriedly pointed at the back of the flying fighter, where a blood-red, triangular fighter was floating. Voila! The cabin door opened. What? The 4 existences surpassing the war god level looked at the newcomer in shock. Even the stars in the sky seemed to have disappeared. There was only one person in the world, a man with short black hair, a black jacket, and black pants. Being stared at by him makes one's heart turn cold, without a single thought of resisting. He is the only god in the world, including Representative Farr. The 4 existences surpassing the war god level were all trembling. Greetings, First Chairman. Representative Farr and the others floated in midair and slightly bowed. The newcomer was Hong, the strongest fighter in the world, the first chairman of the Palace of War Gods, the undisputed strongest fighter in the world. I noticed your fighter jet earlier and guessed that you were also coming here, so I wasn't in a hurry to get ahead of you. The black-haired man's voice was calm. I won't bully you. I'll give you one chance. You can attack the Misty Island as you please, get whatever you can. If you fail, then leave immediately. Hong's voice was very cold. There was a natural sense of superiority. But it's true, from the Grand Nirvana period until now, Hong's strength and position have always been undeniably superior. If the presidents of the 5 great countries and their power came from the backing of the entire country, then Hong's power came from himself. He alone was equivalent to a strong country, or even stronger. His personal power had already surpassed the limits of the world. So, he was put on a pedestal. Every country in the world cooperated with him and actively helped him promote the dojo of limits. In reality, Hong himself could be considered a true godlike existence. For human society to be able to survive until now, Hong's contribution definitely couldn't be hidden. Thank you, First Chairman. The 4 existences surpassing the war god level slightly bowed. Then whoosh, 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 whoosh. The 4 of them turned into 4 flashes of light and flew towards the Misty Island. The black-haired man just floated in midair and waited silently. This is Hong. Catalan, Li Yao, Keita, and Yvonne looked at Hong with blazing eyes. The existences surpassing the war god level in their eyes, Representative Farr and the others, even when facing the chairman of the HR Alliance, they were very natural and even had a bit of arrogance. But in front of Hong, these 4 representatives were all extremely respectful, like obedient children. Worship, Catalan, Ethan, Li Yao, and Keita all worshipped him from the bottom of their hearts. Hong represented the limit of humanity, the pinnacle. 5 minutes later, the rumbling of the Misty Island didn't stop. The 4 flashes of light quickly flew back and floated below Hong. These 4 existences surpassing the war god level, all of them seemed to be injured. Some had pale faces, some had bloodstains at the corner of their mouths. They were all scared. If Representative Fart didn't tell them about the terror of the vine and carefully stayed at the edge, the 4 of them probably wouldn't just be injured, they might even have lost 1 or 2 people. First Chairman, the 4 slightly bowed. The black-haired man glanced at them. The 4 bowed again and immediately flew towards the disc-shaped fighter jet. Now, no matter what, they definitely won't enter the Misty Island again. That vine is too terrifying. Whoosh! The black-haired man directly flew towards the Misty Island. The blood-red, triangular fighter jet behind him also flew over. In the air above the Misty Island, the black-haired man stood in the air like a god, looking down. After being ambushed by the 4 existences surpassing the war god level, there were now 8 endless vines waving around, causing the entire Misty Island to shake, as if there was an earthquake. Oh, the black-haired man's eyes lit up. Whoosh! He directly descended, instantly causing a dark purple vine to swing towards him, trying to entangle and kill the black-haired man. The black-haired man reached out his right hand, a white and powerful right hand. Poof! Like a person holding a chopstick, the black-haired man easily grabbed the thick and endless dark purple vine. Even though the entire dark purple vine was at least 20 centimeters in diameter, with the black-haired man's hand grabbing it, no matter how the vine struggled, it couldn't escape. Buzz! The huge dark purple vine crazily twisted. Unfortunately, it was useless. Dark purple, it's so strong. The black-haired man's left hand formed a blade and lightly slashed across. The dark purple vine was immediately cut open by a full 10 centimeters, but after 2 to 3 seconds, the wound disappeared. Rumble, struggling to no avail, the entire Misty Island began to shake violently. Numerous black and purple vines extended from the mist. Each vine was over 2,000 meters long. 1 vine, 2 vines, 3 vines, 8 vines, 9 vines. There should be 16. The black-haired man let out a smile. The black-haired man revealed a trace of a smile and allowed the black-purple vines to surround him. The area within 100 meters of the black-haired man fell into boundless darkness. Once the black-haired man entered this area of darkness, it was as if he had fallen into a swamp. It was incredibly difficult for him to break free. Yeah, the black-haired man grabbed a vine and carefully observed it like a scientist. It matches the information recorded in the archaeological ruins. This is the cloud contact vine. Our Earth actually has a cloud contact vine? The black-haired man let out a smile. This Luo Feng sure is a lucky star. I've earned quite a bit this time. I'll give him some good stuff out of the spirits of nature's share. Asterisk, 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 Paris headquarters city. In a quiet bedroom, Liao grabbed a bottle of red wine and lay on the sofa, raising his head and gulping it down. Soon, he had drunk more than half of the bottle of red wine. Yao, you don't have to give up on yourself like this, even though you failed, said Vanina worriedly as she spoke Chinese on the side. Liao ignored her and forcefully finished the bottle in 1 gulp. After that, he grabbed the other bottle of red wine on the table. Yao, Yao, Vanina hurriedly grabbed the red wine. There's no hope. There's no hope. Liao glanced at Vanina and laughed at himself, as if he was drunk yet not drunk. What do you mean there's no hope? It's just that we failed this time. The spirits of nature failed, and we failed to kill Luo Feng. What do you mean there's no hope? Vanina was enraged. Yao, I've never seen you lose your fighting spirit ever since we started adventuring. How did you become like this time? Liao's voice was low as he said powerlessly. That Luo Feng, he's already reached the peak of the advanced level war god level. What? Vanina was startled. She only knew from the phone that it was a complete failure, but she didn't know that Luo Feng became this strong. A spirit reader at the peak of the advanced level war god level. What are you afraid of? Vanina clenched her teeth. We've been in situations even more troublesome than this. As long as you, Yao, become an existence surpassing the war god level, wouldn't dealing with him be a piece of cake? It's different. It's different. Liao shook his head. The Dojo of Limits earned a lot of spirits of nature this time. I personally saw that golden masked man carrying a bulging backpack, so Luo Feng will definitely get quite a bit. When the time comes, he'll use the spirits of nature to exchange for some treasures, and with the support of the Dojo of Limits, there won't be many people on Earth that will help us fight against him. As for killing him, with his spirit reader abilities, if he burrows into the ground, even if I become an existence surpassing the war god level, I might not be able to catch up to him. Plus, can I become an existence surpassing the war god level? Liao couldn't have looked more awful. Worldly power, personal strength. He will be completely surpassed by Luo Feng. 2 chapters completed. How much of the spirits of nature will Luo Feng get? 1 last hour. Brothers, there's only 1 hour left for double the monthly votes. With the monthly votes, support Tomato. Thanks. Chapter 162. Hongning Headquarters City, Elite Training Camp, Jiangnan Pagoda. Early in the morning, Luo Feng was standing on the balcony facing the east. A few days ago, I was being chased by Li Yao in the wastelands of the continent of Australia. And now I'm here by myself, waiting for the head to summon me. Luo Feng let out a smile. Luo Feng let out a smile. After Investigator Liu and Luo Feng returned last night, Investigator Liu arranged for Luo Feng to live in the training camp. All the other students in the training camp went on a life and death adventure. So Luo Feng was the only official student in the entire training camp. What Luo Feng needs to do now is wait for the head to summon him and receive the huge reward. The Dojo of Limits had an extremely shocking harvest on the Misty Island. Investigator Liu was already very excited to receive 5%, so you can imagine just how shocking of a fortune Luo Feng received. The sun. Luo Feng looked toward the east. Right now, the eastern sky was filled with fiery red clouds. Even though the sun hasn't appeared yet, the light that shone through the clouds was so beautiful that it made people's hearts tremble. I thought I could stay here for 2 to 3 years, or even longer. Luo Feng touched the railing of the balcony and sighed. Looks like I have to leave. Evening. 2 men and women wearing black uniforms swiftly arrived outside of Jiangnan Pagoda's courtyard. Bang, bang, bang. They knocked on the door. Who is it? Luo Feng walked out of the house and opened the door. The men and women in black uniforms outside looked to be around 30 years old. Their eyes were extremely spirited, and one of them, a slightly petite girl with short hair, smiled. Student Luo Feng, the head has summoned you. Please come with us. The man on the side looked curiously at the youth in front of him. It's rare for the head to personally summon you. Head. Luo Feng was overjoyed. So fast. He's only been back for a day, and the head is summoning him already. Looks like the reward is going to be split soon. All right, let's go. Luo Feng nodded and followed the two. Following the familiar road, they quickly arrived at the entrance of the elite training camp. A black luxurious limousine was parked there. From the looks of it, the length of the limousine should be over 6 meters. The woman in the black uniform walked up and opened the door. Student Luo Feng, please enter. Luo Feng entered the car. The interior of the car was like a space capsule, very comfortable and luxurious. The car slowly moved off. The man in the black uniform sat next to the driver's seat, while the woman in the black uniform sat next to Luo Feng. 20 minutes later, screech. The car stopped. Student Luo Feng has arrived at headquarters, said the black uniformed lady as she laughed. When Luo Feng got off the car and saw the building in front of him, he couldn't help but to take in a deep breath. Oh my God! In front of them was a giant spaceship-like building that was 10,000 meters long. Its height was also about 100 meters. This giant spaceship building had a huge hatch that was tens of meters wide. It could accommodate people. At this moment, outside this huge spaceship, there was a large number of soldiers stationed there. It was a very tight security. This is the real headquarters of the Dojo of Limits. Luo Feng was shocked as he looked at the gigantic ship. Very few people have seen the Dojo of Limits headquarters with their own eyes, and there aren't any pictures of it on the internet. A blue light shot out from the ship, enveloping Luo Feng's body. Student Luo Feng, please enter. An electronic voice rang. The black uniformed lady beside Luo Feng said, Student Luo Feng. Only a few upper echelons have the authority to enter the headquarters. If you enter without the authority, you'll be killed by the defense system. Student Luo Feng. Hurry and enter. Luo Feng nodded and walked over. The gigantic hatch that was tens of meters wide was silver white. Why does the spaceship building feel like a real spaceship? Thought Luo Feng to himself. However, a spaceship that's over 10,000 meters long. I've never heard of it. He didn't think anymore and swiftly walked through the hatch and entered the headquarters. In the hallway, a man and a woman wearing a blue robe smiled as they welcomed him. Student Luo Feng, please follow us. Almost everyone in the headquarters was wearing a blue robe. Very few people were wearing a red robe. This is the resting area. Student Luo Feng, please rest here. The head will summon you later, smiled the white girl in the blue robe as she spoke fluent Chinese. After that, she obediently left. There were already 2 people in the resting area. Greetings, Investigator Luo Feng slightly bowed. Mr. Ice Mountain, Luo Feng smiled Investigator Lu. That royal guard Ice Mountain glanced at Luo Feng coldly and didn't say anything. The head has already returned from the Misty Island and immediately summoned the 3 of us. It should be about the distribution of the spoils from the Misty Island, smiled Investigator Lu as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, your spoils this time aren't small in terms of spoils. Investigator Lu's share probably can't even compare to Luo Feng's. I was just lucky. I just happened to find a Misty Island, said Luo Feng. Luck is also a part of strength, Inspector Lu said with a smile. Royal Guard Ice Mountain remained silent on the side. Suddenly, Ice Mountain, the head is summoning you, a voice rang. A black man in a red robe stood outside the door. He's starting to summon me. Luo Feng and Investigator Lu's expressions changed. Okay, Ice Mountain stood up. He was still wearing his golden mask and followed the black man in the red robe as he left. Ice Mountain sure earned a lot this time. Investigator Lu couldn't help but to sigh as he looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng, your spoils this time probably won't be small either. When that time comes, the head will probably give you a chance to exchange for some treasures. You have to seize the opportunity to exchange for some treasures you need. Exchange for treasures? Luo Feng was stunned. Yes. Inspector Lu nodded his head with a smile. We have obtained a lot of essence of nature this time. Logically speaking, you should be given some. But what did he need so many vegetation spirits for? The best treasure was the one that suited him the most. You can use them to trade for rare treasures from the headmaster, which can't be bought with money. Oh, Luo Feng's eyes lit up. You'll know when the time comes. Inspector Lu said with a faint smile. It's just that I don't know. There are some true treasures that Dojo Master is probably unwilling to take out. After saying this, Inspector Lu didn't say anything else. A moment later, Patrol Lu, the Dojo Master wants to see you. It was the black man in the red robe again. Luo Feng, I'll be going first. Investigator Lu smiled and left with the black man in the red robe. Only Luo Feng was left in the resting lounge. Luo Feng waited quietly. 10 minutes later, the red-robed black man came to the door. Luo Feng, the head summons you. It's finally my turn. Luo Feng took in a deep breath and stood up. He followed the red-robed black man along the corridor and quickly arrived in front of a quiet room. The red-robed black man slightly bowed and left. Luo Feng, come in, a cold voice rang. Yes, head. Luo Feng has met Hong before and heard Hong's voice. The reception room was empty and pitch black, with only 2 cushions on the floor. The black-haired man sat cross-legged on the cushion and pointed at the cushion in front of him. Sit. Yes. Luo Feng went forward and sat on the cushion. In front of Hong, just that formless pressure alone would make people lower their heads uncontrollably and lose all thoughts of resistance. Perhaps it's because the difference in strength between ants and the dragon god is too great, so they can only lower their heads. The black-haired man's gaze towards Luo Feng had a bit of warmth in it as he said, You did quite a bit by reporting the Misty Island to me. By reporting this, you can receive 10% of all the spirits of nature. And when you excavate, you also contributed, so you can receive 5%. In other words, in total, you can receive 15%. It really is 15%, thought Luo Feng to himself. Keep in mind that the golden-masked man harvested a total of 92 spirits of nature. In addition to the 10,000-year willow heart and 2,000-year willow hearts that Luo Feng gave him, there are a total of 95 spirits of nature. And 15% is definitely an unbelievable amount of wealth for Luo Feng. 1,000-year willow hearts were considered low-grade and ordinary among them. However, a 1,000-year willow heart is more valuable than a portion of dragon blood, so you can totally imagine how much 15% is worth. So, the black-haired man waved his hand. Shishi. In the pitch-black guest room, a 3D hologram suddenly appeared. In this 3D hologram, there were actually 12 spirits of nature. These 12 wood spirits are of varying value, the black-haired man said, his voice still as cold as ever. However, these 12 wood spirits add up to about 15% of the total value of the 95 wood spirits. These 12 wood spirits are yours. 12. Luo Feng looked at the 3D projection. Of these 12, Luo Feng only recognized 1,000-year willow heart. He didn't even know the other 11. You can take a closer look at the value of these 12 wood spirits. As soon as the black-haired man finished speaking, a large amount of words appeared next to each spirit of nature in the 3D projection, explaining the uses of each spirit of nature. Luo Feng's vision was extremely good, so he could see everything clearly. 1,000-year black crow root was brewed into 3 kilograms of medicinal wine. Drinking 100 grams of it every day would improve one's physical fitness and make one's skin incomparably tough. 100 grass. No matter what kind of poison it was or what kind of injury it was, it could be chewed and consumed to recover. Every type of spirit of nature has its own unique effects. The most ridiculous of the 12 spirits of nature can actually increase a person's fitness by 6 to 10 times. The limit is the peak of the advanced level war god. Some even made Luo Feng envious. However, Luo Feng was also curious. How could the head easily know the effects and usage of each spirit of nature? Moreover, they were given all kinds of names. Hey, did this 1,000-year black crow root really grow for 1,000 years? Luo Feng couldn't help but to ask curiously. Dumb, the black-haired man couldn't help but to smile. I just randomly gave them names. I'm Chinese, so I just gave them names that the Chinese like. How long has it been since the Grand Nirvana period? How long have I lived? The so-called 1,000 years or 10,000 years are just exaggerations to let people know how amazing the effects of these spirits of nature are. Luo Feng nodded. Spirits of nature don't have much of an effect on you, who's already at the peak of the advanced level war god, said the black-haired man. So, I'll give you a chance. A chance to exchange the spirits of nature for the treasures you need. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 163. A chance to exchange for treasures? Luo Feng's eyes flashed. He received Investigator Lu's reminder before. In the pitch-black room, the black-haired man waved his hand, and an even larger 3D hologram appeared beside the original 12 spirits of nature's 3D hologram. This 3D hologram was divided into instruction manual, auto-jet, battle uniform, weapons, spirit medicine, etc. Under each category, there were many physical holograms. All sorts of treasures dazzled one's eyes. On this exchange list, there are a total of 62 treasures that you can exchange for, said the black-haired man. Spirit medicine. Luo Feng didn't look at anything else and just stared at the spirit medicine category. With a glance, there were a lot of spirit medicines, at least 10 of them. Each of them had shocking effects. There's no elixir of life? What Luo Feng cared about the most was the elixir of life. The elixir of life that can allow his brother to stand up. Elixir of life? The black-haired man, Hong, heard this and looked at Luo Feng with shock. He shook his head. Luo Feng, every single item on this exchange list has an astronomical price in human society. And many of them are true treasures that countries and organizations can't buy even if they want to. How can the elixir of life be on this exchange list? Luo Feng was shocked. The elixir of life isn't on this list? You need the elixir of life to help your brother stand up again? The black-haired man pointed towards the 12 spirits of nature's hologram. Didn't you see the effects of the 100-dew grass among the 12 spirits of nature you obtained? As long as you chew it and eat it, it can heal any injury. Naturally, it can help your brother stand up again. Luo Feng looked carefully at the 100-dew grass. No matter what kind of poison or injury, just chew it and eat it to heal. Okay, Luo Feng's eyes flashed. Don't tell me you're going to give this 100-dew grass to your brother, said the black-haired man with shock. Yes, nodded Luo Feng. Ah, the black-haired man laughed. He hasn't laughed like this in a long time. Luo Feng, the value of this 100-dew grass is 10 times that of the elixir of life. If you used the 100-dew grass to exchange with the American government for the elixir of life, the American government would probably be willing to give you 10 portions of the elixir of life. You actually used the 100-dew grass to help your brother grow his legs and stand up again? It's such a waste of the 100-dew grass's medicinal effects. The black-haired man shook his head. The 100-dew grass was a precious herb. Good steel should be used on the edge of the blade. The 100-dew grass cannot be used so casually. In a month or two, the American government will hold an auction for the water of life. You can participate in the auction then, the black-haired man instructed. Don't waste a floral essence like that. Luo Feng blinked twice. The 100-dew grass was worth 10 times the water of life? Look carefully. The black-haired man waved his hand. Beep. In a 3D virtual projection, a price immediately appeared next to the 12 projections of the floating spirits of nature. They were 2 stars, 2, 5 stars, 3 stars. Every spirit of nature had a price. The lowest was 1, 5 stars, and the highest was 5 stars. The total price was 36. 5 stars. Luo Feng was stunned. This is the value of the essence of nature you obtained. The black-haired man's expression was calm. In this world, there are many treasures that can't be measured with money. No one would be stupid enough to sell some rare treasures for Chinese currency or US dollars. That's all stupid. If you want to trade, you trade with other items. Luo Feng nodded. Indeed, he had never heard of any place selling most of the items on the exchange list. In other words, there's no place to buy them, even if you have the money. For example, the Black God set hasn't even been sold yet. Stars are a random unit I set, said the black-haired man. Luo Feng nodded. Their value is based on my judgment. Look again. The black-haired man pointed at the holographic exchange list. Suddenly, the prices of every item on the exchange list appeared. 1 star, 1, 5 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars. The prices varied, but most of them were around 2 stars. The black-haired man had a mysterious smile on his face as he looked at Luo Feng. You have 36. 5 stars of spirits of nature. You can exchange for any item here. As long as the total price doesn't exceed 36. 5 stars, you can do it. After that, the black-haired man remained silent and let Luo Feng carefully look and think. On the exchange list, Luo Feng saw the auto jet with a glance. Emperor level auto jet, 2 stars universe level auto jet, 15 stars prehistoric level auto jet, 60 stars. That prehistoric level is actually so high Luo Feng always thought that he was extremely rich after receiving this reward. However, when he saw the prehistoric level auto jet, he couldn't help but to curse. Holy, this price is unbelievable. No wonder Hong is the only person in the dojo of limits with a prehistoric level auto jet. Look at the battle armor. Luo Feng didn't look at anything else. He first carefully looked at the battle armor category. The best was the Black God set. Black God set, 5 stars. This Black God set is quite expensive, thought Luo Feng to himself. However, it's still within an acceptable range. Ed, I'll buy this Black God set. Luo Feng looked towards the black-haired man. The black-haired man looked towards Luo Feng and said, the Black God set is very special. Black God sets have always been rare in the entire world. Only those who enter the archaeological ruins and succeed can get a Black God set. And everyone only has one chance to enter, so even I can't get another Black God set. Because of this, Black God sets are extremely rare in the entire world. Luo Feng, our dojo of limits has a rule. Those who directly receive the Black God set must go to the archaeological ruin and get another Black God set when the time is up. And they must sell it to our dojo of limits, said the black-haired man, Hong. Luo Feng understood. Everyone only has one chance to get a Black God set. If the dojo of limits uses the Black God set as a reward, then their inventory will decrease. Naturally, they have to earn another one to replenish it. That way, they can keep it flowing. If you want to buy this Black God set, I'll give you two choices. First, spend 5 stars and buy the Black God set. Your duty is to enter the archaeological ruins and get a Black God set, then sell it to my dojo of limits. My dojo of limits won't lower the price. Second, you can get a Black God set for free now. In the future, when you enter the archaeological ruins and get another Black God set, you can give it to my dojo of limits for free. Luo Feng's eyes flashed as he heard this. I choose the second option. Luo Feng didn't hesitate at all. If he gets it for free now, he can give it back to the dojo of limits in the future. That's basically an interest-free loan. Only an idiot wouldn't choose that option. Haha, how crafty. The black-haired man let out a smile. Luo Feng, you're a genius. My dojo of limits has always been generous towards geniuses. However, you got a lot of benefits this time, so I didn't give you too much. I'll give you the second option for this Black God set, which counts as a small benefit. Luo Feng laughed. Even though he has to return it in the future to get a Black God set for free, at least he can exchange it for more treasures now. Head, I'm dazzled by all these treasures. I hope you can tell me which one I should buy, said Luo Feng. Luo Feng said, how could his vision compare to the head? The head had a deep understanding of these treasures. The black-haired man, Hong, couldn't help but to laugh out loud. He treats Luo Feng so well because of Luo Feng's talent and also because of the cloud contact vine. To Hong, the cloud contact vine is even more precious than some prehistoric level auto jet. That's why Hong, who was so happy, said so much to Luo Feng. Sure, the black-haired man looked at the exchange list. In the instruction manuals, some of them can only be learned by existences surpassing the war god level. There's no point in buying them now. I advise you to buy that Spirit Reader Basics first. It's worth 3 stars. I'll buy it. Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng was a bit surprised when he saw that this Spirit Reader Basics was priced at 3 stars. Why is it being sold at such a high price? Keep in mind that on this exchange list, 1 portion of dragon blood is only worth 1 star. As for the spirit medicine, you don't need to buy it right now. Your body continuously consumed the dragon blood and the 1,000-year willow heart, so there's a large amount of medicine hidden in your body. All you need to do is train, and your strength will rise quickly. The black-haired man, Hong, continued. As for the other treasures, there's only one that's extremely suitable for you. As for the others, you can pick whatever you want. Luo Feng's eyes flashed. Other than buying the Black God set and the Spirit Reader Basics, there's one more that's extremely suitable for him, according to Hong. Which one? Luo Feng couldn't help but to ask. If you get it, then you're lucky. If you don't, then forget it. The black-haired man, Hong, didn't remind him anymore. Luo Feng stared dumbly at the exchange list. Who knows which one suits him? Treasures that suit him? Treasures? If Hong can't bear to part with it and doesn't want to remind him too much, then it must be very valuable. Yeah, it should be very valuable. Luo Feng looked carefully. He wasn't looking at the item, but at the price. In the entire exchange list, the most expensive item is the prehistoric level auto jet, which costs 60 stars. After that is the instruction manual, an ultimate technique that only existences surpassing the war god level can learn. Phoenix Soaring Strike, which costs 36 stars. The third most expensive item is a weapon called the Soaring Shuttle, which costs 30 stars. The fourth most expensive item is also an ultimate technique called the Lightning Flint, which costs 25 stars. According to what the head said, those ultimate techniques are useless even if I buy them now. According to the conversation between Investigator Liu and Personal Guard Iceberg, the ultimate technique also depends on each person's origin energy characteristics. I can't afford the first-ranked prehistoric level auto jet. Then, this soaring shuttle? Luo Feng carefully looked at the soaring shuttle's introduction. The introduction was very sparse, just a simple introduction. Soaring shuttle, a weapon suitable for spirit readers to control. It saved a lot of spiritual force. Keep in mind that in the weapons category, most of the weapons Hong provided were suitable for spirit readers because they were for Luo Feng. The introduction was very simple, so if you didn't look at the price, you wouldn't even notice the soaring shuttle's uniqueness. So expensive, 30 stars. Luo Feng was a bit reluctant. The 12 spirits of nature only cost 36. 5 stars, while the soaring shuttle costs 30 stars. Head Luo Feng clenched his teeth and looked towards the black-haired man, Hong. I want to buy the soaring shuttle. The black-haired man, Hong, let out a surprised expression. You actually chose it. Tell me, how did you choose it? Even the head didn't want to tell me. So it's definitely not a normal treasure, so the price must be high. So I went from high to low and looked at the price one by one. Right after Luo Feng said that, the black-haired man, Hong, couldn't help but to laugh. Looks like I was too stingy. Looks like you and this soaring shuttle are fated. This soaring shuttle's true value is far more than 30 stars. When you become an existence surpassing the war god level, its power will be even more obvious. However, right now, it's the best weapon for you. Hong had added the soaring shuttle to the exchange list because he had obtained the cloud contact vine. Otherwise, why would he add the soaring shuttle to the list? And considering that Luo Feng's spirits of nature only cost 36. 5 stars, he only priced the soaring shuttle at 30 stars. 2 chapters finished. Tomorrow is Saturday. Everyone rest well. Tomatoes should rest too. Help me subscribe. This book has a direct train on the first page of Swallowing Star. Chapter 164. Thank you, head, said Luo Feng. The head said it himself. The true value of the soaring shuttle is far more than 30 stars. Keep in mind that a portion of dragon blood worth 80 billion is only 1 star, so you can imagine how valuable the soaring shuttle is. Of course, there's no comparison. Money, at a certain level, is just a number. Powerful fighters like Hong and Thunder God definitely wouldn't be willing to sell their treasures for money. These treasures can only be exchanged for other items. Use it well. I hope it can shine in your hands. All right, now that you've chosen, the soaring shuttle is 30 stars. The Spirit Reader Basics Instruction Manual is 3 stars, a total of 33 stars. Your spirits of nature are worth 36. 5 stars, which means that you still have 3. 5 stars to exchange for the black-haired man, Hong. Point at the holographic screen with the many exchangeable items. Tell me, which one do you want? Luo Feng looked carefully. Right now, he has the Black God set for defense and the soaring shuttle for weapons. As for Spirit Reader training, he has the Spirit Reader Basics, so he's not lacking much. The prehistoric level auto jet is great, but sadly, it's expensive. Luo Feng sighed to himself. As long as you're a fighter, who doesn't want a flashy fighter jet? Luo Feng's gaze went past the category of fighter jets, and his eyes flashed. Emperor-level auto jet, 2 stars. This is great. It's not expensive, only 2 stars. And this Emperor-level auto jet has high defense and AI, which is much better than regular disc-shaped fighter jets. Even though it's only 2 stars, it's still an astronomical price. Very few war gods can afford this lowest-level auto jet. Its performance, Luo Feng looked carefully at the simple description beside the Emperor-level auto jet on the screen. Emperor-level auto jet, AI-controlled fighter jet. The body can defend against any Horde leader-level monster's attack. Its top speed is Mach 10. 6. Not bad, Luo Feng nodded to himself. Regular fighter jets don't dare to say that they can defend against any Horde leader-level monster's attack. If they dare to say that, it means that the body's defense is close to an Emperor-level monster's. Keep in mind that Investigator Lu's Universe-level auto jet can defend against an Emperor-level monster's attack. This is a bit weaker. However, it was still very strong. Its top speed could reach Mach 10. 6, which was more than 10,000 kilometers per hour. Most King-class monsters would not be able to catch up to this auto jet. The most important thing was that this thing was intelligent. There was no need to hire a pilot. It was very convenient. I'll buy it, the Emperor-level auto jet, said Luo Feng. Yes. The black-haired man glanced at it and nodded. You've already exchanged for 35 stars. What else do you want to exchange? Luo Feng looked at it and shook his head as he laughed. No need. Out of my 12 spirits of nature, the cheapest 1,000-year black crow root is only worth 1. 5 stars, so I'll keep it for myself. With this, Luo Feng was left with the spirit of nature, the 1,000-year black crow root. Of course, there was also the exchange for Spirit Reader Basics, the Black God set, the Soaring Shuttle, and the Emperor-class auto jet. Among them, the Black God set was free. Yes, the black-haired man, Hong, waved his hand, and the 2 3D projections disappeared. The room became dark again. Head, Luo Feng asked respectfully. I want to ask, this 1,000-year black crow root needs to be brewed into 3 kilograms of medicine and consumed 100 grams a day. I want to know, is it okay to give this 3 kilograms of medicine to a few normal people? They aren't fighters, so shouldn't they drink less? The black-haired man, Hong, looked deeply at Luo Feng before saying, giving it to a few people isn't a problem. However, each person's strength will increase by a bit. As for normal people, they can consume 100 grams a day, no problem. Luo Feng was secretly happy after hearing this. Is there a difference in what kind of medicine is brewed? Luo Feng followed with a question. There's no difference. Even if you use water, it's fine, the black-haired man, Hong said. The black-haired man, Hong said, there's no need to ask anymore. The 1,000-year black crow root that will be delivered to you later will come with detailed instructions. Luo Feng nodded. The entire room became silent again. The black-haired man, Hong, examined Luo Feng. Being stared at by Hong, Luo Feng felt like he had no secrets at all. That gaze seemed to be able to pierce through his soul. The black-haired man, Hong, coldly said, Luo Feng, your current strength has reached the peak of the war god level, so there's no need for you to stay in the elite training camp. Yes, Luo Feng nodded. I'll give you 2 choices. The black-haired man, Hong, didn't hesitate at all. Ever since he signed that contract with Investigator Wang, it meant one thing. From now on, Luo Feng is a member of the Dojo of Limits. His current job arrangement is obviously arranged by the higher-ups. 1. Stay in Hongning Headquarters City and join the Special Task Force, or apply to be a teacher in the training camp. Or something else. 2. Go to another headquarters city and become an examiner. The black-haired man, Hong, quietly looked at Luo Feng. Make your choice. Luo Feng froze. Choose carefully. These 2 choices are very important to you. The black-haired man, Hong, emphasized. Stay and go to another place are the 2 choices of the war god of the dojo. Once you choose, it'll be very hard to change it in the future. Unless you break through and surpass the war god level and become an investigator of the Dojo of Limits. Only then will you have a special privilege. This is just like a job in a company. If you choose between 2 jobs, it'll be very hard to change it. Stay? Go to another place? Luo Feng hesitated for a bit. Once you choose, you'll have to stay in one place for a long time. I hope to return to Jiangnan Headquarters City and become an examiner there, said Luo Feng respectfully. Jiangnan Headquarters City? The black-haired man, Hong, nodded. The current examiner of Jiangnan Headquarters City isn't a native of Jiangnan Headquarters City. According to the rules of the Dojo of Limits, people from their hometown are given priority. Actually, the position of an examiner is an extremely powerful position. Out of all the members of the Dojo of Limits in a headquarters city, the examiner is the leader. Usually, only people who have the title of Advanced Level War God and are extremely famous have the right to become an examiner. And the position of chairman can be taken by beginner-level war gods or intermediate-level war gods. The lowest requirement for strength is beginner-level war god. As for the position of head, the lowest requirement for strength is advanced-level warlord. From the strength requirement, one can see the difference between the 3 positions. For example, in Jiangnan Headquarters City, the chairman and 3 heads of the Dojo of Limits are all big shots on the surface, and an examiner controls the armed forces. He truly holds the power to supervise. He can even directly dismiss a head and appoint a new head, or ask the headquarters to dismiss the chairman. Of course, An examiner doesn't have the right to dismiss the chairman, and an examiner's position is directly appointed by the highest authority. A single examiner doesn't have the right to dismiss an examiner. Only after the round table conference votes can they do so. To a certain extent, this also shows how powerful an examiner is. He's already the ruler of a region. To become an examiner, your title must at least be Advanced Level War God, said the black-haired man. What you need to do now is to obtain the title of Advanced Level War God. Yes, said Luo Feng. In terms of battle achievements, he's still only a beginner-level warlord. Of course, his actual strength is already Invincible War God. When you obtain the title of Advanced Level War God, you'll automatically become an examiner, said the black-haired man. I hope that you can go to Jiangnan headquarters city and work there, yes, replied Luo Feng. The dojo of Limit's world headquarters, the entrance to the mysterious gigantic spaceship. Luo Feng walked out with a white man in a red robe. Mr. Luo Feng smiled the white man in a red robe. Look over there, that auto jet is yours, oh? Luo Feng turned his head to look, only to see a dark blue, triangular fighter jet parked on the empty space beside him. The entire fighter jet's body was curvaceous and beautiful, almost like a work of art. The total length of the body was around 20 meters, and the width was around 10 meters. The entire body gave off a rather sturdy feeling. This auto jet is mine. Luo Feng couldn't help but to feel proud. Which man in this era doesn't want a fighter jet that belongs to them? However, fighter jets are extremely expensive. Even among the war gods, only a few have bought one. Mr. Luo Feng, since you've never used this auto jet before, there will be a system confirmation process, smiled the white man in a red robe. Please follow me. They arrived beside the fighter jet. A dreamy blue light shone down and enveloped Luo Feng. Suddenly, the hatch swiftly opened with a walla sound. Mr. Luo Feng, only you can go in right now. I can't go in. The white man in a red robe couldn't hide the envy in his eyes. After you enter, the system confirmation will be done by the AI system. Mr. Luo Feng just needs to stay in the cabin. Mr. Luo Feng, you'll understand everything in a bit. Luo Feng nodded. He immediately entered the cabin. The seats in the cabin were extremely comfortable and luxurious. Sitting in a cabin like this was a form of enjoyment. Voila! The hatch closed. At the same time, many parts of the auto jet lit up, making it seem very dreamy. At the same time, an electronic voice rang. Hello, Master. I will immediately demonstrate how to control this Emperor-level auto jet. After saying that, a hologram appeared in front of the cabin. In a virtual projection, a series of easy-to-understand pictures and texts began to appear. It explained how to control the entire fighter jet in detail. Beep! A red light shot toward the tactical communications watch on Luo Feng's left wrist. It connected to the tactical communications watch and began to install the auto jet remote control system in the tactical communications watch. After a while, that's quite simple. Everything is AI. I don't need to worry at all. Luo Feng let out a smile. I'll give you a name now. You'll be called Number 1 Inch. Luo Feng randomly gave it a name. Yes, Master, the electronic voice rang. At the same time, a silver lock case came out from the bottom of the cabin. After it completely came out, the hole at the bottom closed and the electronic voice continued. This is the case the dojo of Limits left from Master. Luo Feng's eyes flashed as he heard this. This should be the case that stored the Black God set, soaring shuttle, etc. P.S. Chapter 1 has arrived. Chapter 165. Luo Feng swiped his finger across the locked box. K.A. The box automatically opened. On the top of the box was a manual. Luo Feng opened it and couldn't help but to laugh. The description is quite detailed. The Black God set, soaring shuttle, instruction manual, spirit of nature, all of them have detailed descriptions. There are only 3 items here. There's no instruction manual for the spirit reader basics. Luo Feng lowered his head and started flipping through the items in the box. Indeed, there were only 3 packaged items in the box: soaring shuttle, Black God set, and spirit of nature. As for the spirit reader basics instruction manual, there was none. How come there's no instruction manual? Luo Feng carefully read the manual. The manual explained that the Spirit Reader Basics Instruction Manual is extremely secretive, so it won't appear as a physical instruction manual. There's only one way to learn it. Enter the virtual space and read the instruction manual in the virtual space. Holy! Entering the virtual space to read an instruction manual that belongs to you is way too cautious. It must be very important, or else the head wouldn't do this, thought Luo Feng. After that, he yelled towards the air, "Hongning Headquarters City Map." After Luo Feng spoke, a hologram appeared in front of him. A detailed map of Hongning Headquarters City appeared. The map could be adjusted to Luo Feng's will, so he quickly found a place on the map. Other than using the map to confirm the destination, you can also dictate it, as long as the AI system can confirm the location. Destination, Elite Training Camp. Luo Feng tapped with his finger. Who? The dark blue triangular fighter jet swiftly rose into the air and attracted the attention of quite a few people in the dojo of Limit's headquarters. Quite a few people were envious. However, they couldn't tell that it was an auto jet just from its appearance. Even many people on Earth didn't know about the existence of auto jets. The difference in price between an auto jet and a regular fighter jet is extremely shocking. The sky was already dark, and the elite training camp was very quiet. There were only a few war god teachers in the entire training camp. Now that the students were all going on a life or death adventure, many of the war god teachers had left the training camp. Some had gone home, and some had gone sightseeing. Only a few remained here. The students' life and death adventure month is also the war god teacher's vacation time. Silence. Who? A dark blue triangular fighter jet descended like a ghost. As it descended, the hatch opened and Luo Feng dashed out like lightning while carrying the silver box. As for the triangular fighter, it slowly landed and then closed the hatch, motionless. Hey, why is there a fighter jet here? I don't know. Where did it come from? The two staff members of the training camp looked at the triangular fighter in astonishment. To be able to enter the training camp, they must have special privileges. They're probably an advanced level war god, or even an existence surpassing the war god level. The two staff members couldn't help but stare at the fighter jet for a long time. Even the family members of the Ares teachers who stayed behind in the training camp noticed the fighter jet, but no one knew who it was. Since the fighter jet landed too suddenly and Luo Feng escaped too quickly, only the patrolling guards at the entrance barely saw a shadow fly out of the fighter jet. In the study on the second floor of Jiangnan Pavilion, the silver box was already opened. Inside, there was only the packaged Black God set and the soaring shuttle. As for this spirit of nature, Luo Feng placed it in the auto jet. Since he'll be returning to Jiangnan headquarters city soon, the spirit of nature was extremely safe in the auto jet. The Black God set is quite simple to use. Luo Feng looked at the instruction manual. As long as a person wears the Black God set, it will automatically seep into their skin and absorb their blood. After absorbing some blood, the Black God set will mutate, causing the entire Black God set to become extremely compatible with the person's body, just like the person's skin. Moreover, it completely follows the person's will. This was a pure white plastic box. It was only 20 centimeters long and wide, and the Black God set was stored inside. Rip! Luo Feng tore open the plastic box. Inside the box, there was a seemingly thick black glove. If I didn't read the instruction manual, I wouldn't be able to imagine that this thing is a Black God set. Luo Feng let out a smile. Actually, the Black God set has different shapes. It can appear as a glove, a vest, a hat, a pair of pants, or even a ring. No matter what, there's no difference, because once you wear it, you can change it as you wish. Black God set. Luo Feng picked up the black glove and took a deep breath. After that, he put on the black glove on his left hand. Luo Feng silently waited. At first, he didn't feel anything at all. After around 30 seconds, his left thumb felt like it was being pricked by a needle. Chi! The entire black glove was like boiling water as black droplets of water trembled. At the same time, waves of pain came from Luo Feng's 5 fingers, palm, and back of his hand. Luckily, the pain wasn't too strong. One could see with the naked eye. Strands of red flowing into the black droplets. Countless black droplets wrapped around Luo Feng's left hand. After the strands of red entered the black droplets seemed to undergo some sort of change. The entire process lasted for around 15 minutes before everything stopped. How mysterious. Luo Feng felt that his left hand could almost feel the wind blowing past him. Yes, this black glove was like the skin of his body. It was a part of his body. Change. Luo Feng silently stared at the black glove. Suddenly, a black light swiftly spread and continuously covered Luo Feng's entire left arm. At the same time, a portion of the black light left his body and directly spread to his right arm. At the same time, it spread to his legs, neck, and face. This is too mysterious. Luo Feng walked to the mirror beside him and looked at himself in the mirror. Under the clothes, his entire body was covered with a layer of black skin. Even his face became black, only revealing his eyes, nose, and mouth. Throwing knife, Luo Feng grabbed an SS-grade throwing knife beside him and slashed at his arm. However, as if he was slashing at an incomparably tough leather, not even a mark was left behind. Change. Luo Feng's thoughts moved. Suddenly, a black cape appeared on his body, and then a black suit appeared on his body. Change. A black hat appeared on his head, then a helmet, and even a black tie appeared. Nighttime. Around 300 kilometers away from Hongning headquarters city, in the wilderness. The night wind blew and a black flowing light pierced through the air. How satisfying. Luo Feng was currently in midair. Under his feet was a shuttle-shaped object that was completely silver gray. This object was in the shape of a strip, with two sharp ends and a bit thicker in the middle. Its length was 81 centimeters. Its two ends were incomparably sharp, and its middle was the widest, with a width of 27 centimeters. Its entire body was rather thin, and its entire body was covered in extremely dense markings. Ho! As he flew, the horrifying wind that was formed followed the dense markings and formed waves of air. Countless markings formed large amounts of air waves, which strangely formed one body. They followed Luo Feng's body and formed a visible, streamlined air barrier. This was a barrier completely formed by the air waves. When flying, the faster you go, the greater the air resistance. However, when Luo Feng stood on the soaring shuttle, the air waves that were created actually formed a perfect, streamlined air barrier, causing the air resistance to decrease to an astonishing level. Whoosh! Luo Feng was like a black bolt of lightning as he flew freely in the wilderness. This soaring shuttle sure is a great treasure. Luo Feng was extremely excited. When I stand on the soaring shuttle, my speed is more than twice as fast as before. Luo Feng specially stood on the shield and flew the same distance on the soaring shuttle. He flew for 2 minutes and 32 seconds on a shield, while he only flew for 1 minute and 12 seconds on the soaring shuttle. After that, Luo Feng found a specific area that was around 10 kilometers long to test his speed. According to my test just now, my maximum speed on the ground is around 720 m/s. Without using spiritual force, I can run at a speed of 561 meters per second with the strength of my legs, and when I fly on the shield, I can run at a speed of around 618 m/s. Spirit readers or existences surpassing the war god level usually run faster than fly. When running on the ground, he could still use his telekinesis to assist him, and he could also use the strength of his legs. Existences surpassing the war god level rely on special methods to fly in the air. On the ground, they can rely on special methods and their legs. When I stand on the soaring shuttle, my speed can reach an astonishing 1,300 m/s. Tonight, Luo Feng's first goal in the wilderness was to hunt a high-level horde leader-level monster. He killed a golden ape before, so now he only needs to kill one more high-level horde leader-level monster. Then, with the materials from 2 high-level horde leader-level monsters, he can obtain the title of Advanced War God. And his second goal was to come to the wilderness and properly test out the power of the soaring shuttle. He's already tested out the soaring shuttle's first advantage, speed. Even some existences surpassing the war god level can't compare to me when I stand on the shield and fly in midair. For example, Representative Far Luo Feng was in high spirits, and now that I'm standing on the soaring shuttle, my speed in midair has reached an astonishing 1,300 meters per second. You have to know that every bit of increase in speed is extremely difficult. With his legs, his speed is 561 meters per second. With his spiritual force standing on the shield, his speed is 618 meters per second. And with the two combined, his speed is only 720 meters per second. Clearly, the higher you go, the more air resistance you have to overcome. And Luo Feng's speed instantly reached 1,300 meters per second. Even existences surpassing the war god level can only reach this speed on land. If they fly, don't even mention 1,300 meters per second, even surpassing 1,000 meters per second. Both are difficult. Difficult. Thankfully, Hong isn't a spirit reader. Plus, he got the cloud contact vine. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't have given this treasure to Luo Feng. Let's test out its attack methods. Luo Feng immediately descended and landed on the ground. The soaring shuttle floated in front of him. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat. Who? Immediately, 6 blades detached from the soaring shuttle. Each blade was curved and extremely thin. According to the instructions, each blade is quite powerful and extremely suitable for a spirit reader. Oh yeah, the instructions also said that the soaring shuttle can be completely disassembled. Luo Feng's heart skipped a beat, and he tested it out. Immediately, the soaring shuttle instantly disappeared. There were many thin and small blades floating in the air. A total of 365 blades. The entire soaring shuttle is made of these 365 blades, made with special materials and special methods. P.S. 2 chapters completed. Recommending Dong Shui Wanqing's new book, Fairy Story, book number 1706973, Introduction. Both cultivation and love can go hand in hand. This is a new book by a female god. Haha, if you're interested, and sisters, then go read it.